Welcome to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. It's me, Alex, and that's Addie. And there's also a pink sparkle puff here.
Yeah!
Yeah, hey, it's episode number 96. That's fucking nuts.
We're so close to episode 100.
Yeah.
Like, just the other day was the 5-year anniversary of the very first one recorded with, like, Mike and Muda. Which is nostalgic for me, and for you guys is like, what?
I wasn't there for that. What are you talking about?
The first 50 episodes never happened. They were all in your imagination.
I mean, realistically, I would say, yeah, episode 50 was around the time where we were really getting this down pat, yeah. And it was almost 2 years ago since Addy did his relaunch, right?
Yeah. No, I think it will be 2 years in...
in 2 months, it will be 3 years.
Will it?
Yeah.
Because we've only been doing this for a year. No? Have we been doing this for 2?
No, it's been more than... It's been
more than a year, because this time last year, we would have been recording Terraria for the first time.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, then yeah, it will be I did the relaunch 2 years ago, I guess.
That was your relaunch of the podcast, which is a different story. If we consider, I would say we consider, like, how we... This era, I would say effectively started with the first Rainbow Six recording, which was in May of last year. So, it's about a year and a half, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. That is crazy stuff. Huh.
Speaking of, I want y'all to freaking go through the videos and just give me timestamps and video links so I can make a freaking year-end review.
Oh, I can absolutely do that. I'll just comment timestamps.
Put them in the Discord. That's fine. That's good enough.
Okay, Yeah, okay. And... Yeah, jeez. And... Oh, I'm excited for episode 100 just because we'll be able to shoot the shit on whatever we want.
Yeah, it will be interesting, to say the least. Especially since we still don't have one thing for it, and we need to sit down and do that. Because I'm not sure if
is it not done yet?
No, it's not. It's not. We're still missing one component that is related to the podcast itself.
I see.
Alright, speaking of the podcast, let's move on to the podcast, shall we?
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
like a good plan.
So, hey, the next Smite god is Yamoja. Another one out of the Yoruba pantheon. Thank God they're expanding the Yoruba pantheon before moving on.
Right.
So, I'm going to assume that none of us have really educated ourselves on the Yoruba pantheon since Olorun.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Okay, because I don't know much about Yamoja. With that said, I'm interested to see what they could do with her aesthetic. Because we have, I would say, 2 water gods so far.
I want to say we have more. We have Hebo, we have
Poseidon.
Alquang, we have Poseidon.
I forgot about Alquang. Does Susanoo
I
count?
forgot Ao Kwang was watery.
Alquang's easy to forget because you associate him with more dragons and swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget about Alquang because he is sword.
Yes. Well, you might be able to count old Gazenbo, but I'd more so count him as like god of turtles.
Because that boy is the god of drowning.
I feel like Yamoja could be more I feel like Yamoja could go more back to just Hebo in terms of her power is just water, not sea life, just water.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even Poseidon is still pretty focused on, oh, here's a big fuck you Kraken.
Yeah. So, like, Poseidon, god of the ocean. Yamoja, just water.
I think she's supposed to be goddess of rivers.
Yeah.
Right.
So, instead of a Kraken, she will stuff you with salmon.
And every time you kill somebody with a basic attack, it says fish kill.
Yeah.
Yeah! Dig it.
Well, here's the thing that scares me, though. Looking at this character, keeping in mind that she's the goddess of rivers, keeping in mind that she's going to be using water powers, what class do you think she's gonna be?
I
have
wonder.
to guess.
Obviously, warrior.
I have to wonder, like, do they just make so many mages because people buy mages? Like,
Probably.
they're the only ones that people will shell out actual cash for?
Dude, I played
Yeah.
Smite with I played Smite with randos today. I played like a good 10 matches. Of those 10 matches, 9 of them featured not 1, not 2, but upwards of 3 mages.
That's pretty good.
And none of them were me.
You were playing Assassin, right?
No, I was playing Guardian because the mages will die.
Oh.
No, actually, I was
team.
playing-
On your team.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, on my team. The enemy team was balanced as should be, and then my team was 4 mages and also Hunter Sylvanus. Because somebody needs to beat things other than mage. So might as well fill 2 roles.
Do they?
I mean, sometimes. It depends.
Doesn't the Guardian do magic damage anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So was the other team smart enough to take the magic resistance armor?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if nobody's gonna learn from their mistakes, then might as well keep exploiting it.
Yeah.
Learn the hard way, fucker. Alright. And there's also been a trailer released for the Birds of Prey movie, which... How long ago was Birds of Prey announced? I can't...
I don't remember.
Yeah, very unremarkable. And... Boy, this trailer looks like fucking garbage.
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking dumpster fire, man. Like...
What's most funny thing about it is, yeah, the trailer looks bad, but even the trailer itself, by trailer standards, is not good.
Definitely a lot of that. It can't seem to decide, because it's got Harley, and Harley's Harleying it up, and she's like, I'm funny, see? But otherwise it's playing like your generic slow trailer music. You know, a slow remix of whatever 80s pop song, as is obligatory for every modern fucking trailer, Jesus.
Yes, my favorite portrayal of Harley Quinn. I'm Harley Quinn, see? Yeah.
Like, look, I like Margot Robbie well enough, but that's pretty much how she's playing Harley. Which, I mean, there are so many people who are just big fans of Harley as a character now that she can just get away with doing that.
Yeah. Mr. J, see? Yeah.
Dude, you keep acting like that's inaccurate for the sake of humor, but you're super accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, and I look at these other... Alright. Biggest flaw with this movie, more than anything else, what pisses me off. And I know I'm wrong. I know that there are bigger problems with this movie on an objective quality level, but subjectively, what pisses me off about this movie... Harley is the only one wearing anything nearing actual costumes.
Yeah.
And even...
I'd agree, because I don't even remember who else is supposed to be on that team.
I honestly thought that, like, I freaking started the trailer and I was like, okay, so they're showing off Harley because, well, she's directing it, and they're still showing Harley, and they're still showing Harley. Where are the Birds of Prey?
It should have been named Harley Quinn and the Other Guys, that's for certain.
Yeah.
So the other members of the team, I don't know if you can tell that. Fucking Black Canary, Cassie Kane Batgirl, the Huntress, and, oh shit, the second question. How am I forgetting her name? I really like her as a
Renee Montoya.
Renee Montoya, yes. Boy, you look at that design of her in a blue fucking jacket, and you think, oh yeah, that's the question right there. I'm just assuming we're never going to get Vic Sage as questioned, so I'll accept Renee Montoya if she was actually questioned, but she's not, so hey, fuck me. I'd rather have some question than no question, but I don't.
But we're getting no question.
We're getting no question. Like, I feel like they're just going to have her dress in blue throughout the entire film, and they'll be like, see, she's the question. And we'll all be like, no. And I mean, Rorschach was the only success out of the Watchmen movie. Everybody loved Rorschach. Why would they not be like, fuck it, go ahead. Here's Rorschach. Enjoy. Ah. And boy, doesn't Cassie Cain's design just scream Batgirl to you?
I don't know which one's Cassie Cain, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only one I was able to actually identify was Black Canary, and that's because she screamed at one point in the trailer.
And because she's half naked.
Yeah. I wish she wasn't.
Any of that. That's how bad the trailer was.
Yeah.
It feels like... Well, the problem a lot of DC's movies have is that they feel like movies from 10 years ago. This feels like a Foxman movie.
Yeah.
Because we have one character who's wearing a costume. And there always was, in the Foxman movies, one character who wore an identifiable costume. Cyclops. Everyone else is going in street clothes. And, like, even then, Harley's dressed up as a fucking disco pimp.
And not the good kind.
No. Okay. And we can also... I feel like this is one of those things where I have to step in as, like, the DC fan and mention. We do get to see one scene of Harley driving in a car with Cassie Cain, where Cassie Cain is very vocal. Pink, do you know about anything from Cassie Cain in the comics?
I am pretty sure Cassie Cain is a mute.
Yes, a voluntary mute. She speaks up every now and then, but it's like 1 or 2 lines a comic. But otherwise, she was just raised not to speak language at all.
Right.
Because her dad only raised her to kill people.
Right.
Why do you need to speak English when you can speak the language of murder? She's very fluent in it, I assure you. The classic Birds of Prey lineup is Black Canary, Huntress, and Oracle, right?
Right.
So clearly, Matthew Reeves or whoever was working on the Batman movies must have said, no, you don't get to work with Barbara Gordon. I guess I'll use her for something, or who the fuck knows, right?
Right.
Which is apparently a major problem throughout all these DC movies, is that everybody's being a very possessive dickhead with their characters. So I guess Cassie Cain is just filling in as the obligatory member of the Bat family. Except that she's not even a member of the Bat family, she's just a hobo.
They should have put in Damian Wayne.
Well, that would actually be really good, because you could wind up retroactively tying him to the Bat family. Like, wind up having the movie's final twist be like, oh yeah, this stupid hobo kid, Damian, that's really good at killing, that's been tagging along with him the entire time. Oh yeah, it turns out he's Batman's kid. And Harley and Black Canary are just like, wait, what? That seems like pertinent information, Damian. And Damian's totally the kind of dick who would just hide that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm still looking forward to Damian Wayne's Teen Titans.
No. If they would put Damian in one of these movies, it's not a Batman movie. Have the after credit sequence be Batman appears, and then Damian just goes, "Oh, hi, Dad." Okay. And how can the most egregious lack of a costume that pretty much everyone, even the people who are ordinarily like, my realisms, I don't want no superhero costumes in my movies, I want my realisms. Even those people are like, why the fuck is Black Mask not wearing a black mask?
Wait,
right?
Black Mask was in the freaking trailer?
He's Ewan
McGregor. That goes against the name.
He's Obi-Wan.
I didn't notice Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he's the villain. And he's Black Mask, but he doesn't have a fucking black mask.
Makes sense.
Now I bet you the after credit sequence is him getting the black mask.
Mask will be incredibly racist. He will be also renamed Blackface.
I'm pretty sure Black Mask in the comics is actually incredibly racist. So hey, that works.
I guess.
Oh man, this is one of those things where like they're working with what are actually some pretty fun characters in the comics. Could you imagine like an actual decent Birds of Prey movie where we got the Question and Oracle and Black Canary fighting Black Mask, and Black Mask is being his usual Black Mask self and just yucking it up the entire time? Like, Black Mask is one of my low-key favorite DC villains, just because he's not really got anything special to him, except that he's one of the world's biggest assholes.
I mean, hey, if a superhero power is being rich, then a supervillain power can be being an asshole, I guess.
Yeah. Did either of you guys watch Batman Under the Red Hood?
Yes.
Nope.
That film has my favorite portrayal of Black Mask as a character ever. Because he spends the entire movie just screaming his head off at every single thing that even slightly annoys him. I love it. And you know what I also love? How the DC live-action movies are so fucking bad that they lead me into talking about how much I love their animated stuff. I have to switch to something I appreciate.
I just want Riddler.
Well, I guarantee Riddler's not edgy enough, Addy. He's not edgy enough.
Like at this point, anything DC, I just want Riddler, because Riddler is usually not used shit whenever he appears. Usually,
if we ever get Riddler in the movies, he's going to be a serial killer hobo who just leaves questions at the scene of each murder.
True. Oh, how I wish, like, now that they have freaking Pattinson, is it? I forget.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. Now we have him as Batman, and he'll be more detective Batman. I wish that they would give him a freaking fitting Riddler so they can actually have a detective off.
That would be fantastic. Who knows? Because they keep building up this next Batman as a detective Batman. At the same time, something tells me DC's going to barge in like, we want ninjas! More ninjas!
In bikinis, they love him.
What if midway through this Batman detective movie, for no reason, Batman just fights a bunch of ninjas, and then we have Penguin say he hired a bunch of ninjas to attack Batman? And Penguin's in a bikini.
And the Ra's al Ghul for some reason.
Ra's al Ghul. God, I'm fucking sick of Ra's al Ghul. I hate him.
Yeah.
He's the lamest Batman villain. He really is.
Yeah, the only interesting thing about Ra's al Ghul is the Lazarus Pit, but the Lazarus Pit is not Ra's al Ghul.
The Lazarus Pit and the idea of him having been around since, like, the Crusades. Which is, again, another something they don't really touch. I don't know if they're, like, scared of the political implications. I don't know. Fuck.
Actually, I'm also interested in how they would do Azrael, but then Azrael is very very tied to the Court of Owls, which I think sucks.
Azrael
I don't remember.
is not tied to the Court of Owls.
Ah, alright.
The Court of Owls was not introduced until New 52, which would be about 2011 or 2012, and the very first Azrael was introduced long before that. He took over as Batman during the Nightfall arc.
Yeah, I would say that's what prevents him being used, because that's his most noteworthy accomplishment in all of comics.
They can still do the storyline of Batman being like, maybe you could be my successor, and then it turns out he's a giant dick, so he's like, nah. That's actually the one Azrael storyline they can ever do.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, like the thing is, I don't know anything about the freaking character. I like the design.
Hang on, how come they've never put Azrael up against Ra's al Ghul? Because Azrael's like a Catholic. Azrael's a Catholic knight ninja. Ra's al Ghul's like a Middle Eastern Muslim ninja. So just have them fight.
And then we can have the Asian chick from freaking Birds of Prey.
Okay, wait. So
for that.
I should point out, Cassie actually was raised by the League of Assassins. That is
okay.
That is pertinent information. But as much as modern Batman comics love gang war and villain war storylines, why don't they have that? Israel's big crazy fucking night organization versus Ra's al Ghul's big crazy assassin organization.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Like,
Uh,
we should
Yeah.
write DC movies.
Probably.
Yeah.
We can't do it worse.
Speaking of these freaking war stories, recently, and by recently I mean whenever the last time I read freaking Batman was, they had a story going on of the Riddler against the Joker.
The War of Jokes and Riddles?
Yeah. That was pretty freaking good. Well, I don't know about it being good overall, because I think I had to skip a couple issues, but also, freaking Riddler got shot, and then he was like, I live, because I apparently know how to operate my heart, or something.
Yeah, that fits for Riddler.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Riddler is that Riddler is genuinely a genius, but he's so fucking arrogant and has such an inferiority complex that he can never do anything with his genius except bother smarter geniuses.
Yeah. That's why I think that's why he's my favorite Riddler as well, because he'd be inconsistent freaking words. He wouldn't be anything. Really, if you think about it, if it wouldn't be for his arrogance. Like, what is he gonna do to freaking Batman? Jack shit.
No. Well, when Batman was actually able to convince him to become a hero, he was actually pretty good.
Riddler was a hero?
Yeah.
I need to look that up.
There was a storyline where Batman was finally able to convince Riddler that he was not mentally healthy, and Riddler actually committed himself to a therapist, got help, and then became a detective because he figured out that there was a healthy way for him to compete with Batman and prove that he was smarter than Batman, which was by beating Batman's villains before Batman could.
I like that because yes, that is the Riddler I want.
I love that storyline. That storyline's so good that they ripped it off for Lex Luthor 10 years later. Where Lex Luthor was like, I will finally prove my superiority over Superman by being robot Superman. I'll save the day 10 times harder than you, Clark. And Clark's just like, no, stop, don't do it. I'll be so ashamed. As he's like lying back on a fucking lounge with a glass of wine.
Meanwhile, Lex is in the back going, nobody's as mighty as Luthor. Nobody doesn't act like Luthor.
Lex Luthor kind of is a smarter Gaston in a lot of ways, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's nice how talking about DC's dog shit can lead us to talking about actually decent DC moments. You know what's some actually pretty neat comic news? A new trailer for the Avengers game, showing off Kamala Khan's gameplay, confirming she will be playable on launch, thank God. And actual fucking gameplay outside the tutorial level. Who'da thunk?
It's crazy.
The marketing team for this game needs to be fucking fired.
Yes, absolutely.
They have killed all hype for this game in the public eye.
Absolutely.
And like,
meanwhile, I'm sitting here waiting for Ghost of Tsushima to exist.
I thought you were about to say Ghost Rider.
Meanwhile, I'm waiting here for Nick Cage to show up and eat my soul.
Oh man, that'll be one of the next trailers for Marvel's Avengers. Play as Nicolas Cage and eat cereal while watching gorillas fight. Does nobody else remember that part of the fucking Ghost Rider movie where it turns out his primary form of entertainment is eating dry cereal while watching monkeys fight on TV?
I literally only know Nick Cage was a Ghost Rider is because of the internet, because even though I watched that movie like 5 times, I never could figure it out. It doesn't stay in my brain.
That's fair, that was mostly a generic movie. Good old Nick Cage.
I have no recollection of any gorillas or cereal or basically anything from that movie.
Oh, man. So, hey, the Kamala Khan gameplay actually looks alright. There's parkour. And she actually has unique parkour animations, which is nice. I don't know how long they'll be able to carry that on with each hero, but who knows?
Not very long, but it's cool to see some uniqueness in there.
It's good to see the first non-Avengers hero who's in the game. Because even though this game has Avengers plastered on the box, I would like to see a lot of non-Avengers there. Like, say, Ghost Rider. I hope that there's more positive praise coming towards this trailer, so that the marketing team will actually wisen up enough to actually release footage.
Yeah.
With that said, at the same time, I think this game had such a bad first impression that at this point, it's going to take a fucking miracle to turn the buck around.
Right.
In which case, the marketing team will be like, oh, well, clearly less is more. I don't know. I don't like people. I assume the worst of people in a lot of regards. Oh, well, alright, Pink said fuck you to that and he left. Pink will have none of my cynicism today. I can't accept your cynic bullshit in my life, Alex. I got enough going on.
The best part about this podcast is how all of us are solely caressing or freaking copies of People Equals Shit by Korn while we do it. I never even listened to that song.
Was it an album or was it a song?
It was most certainly a song. I don't know if it was the title of the album it was released in.
Because I don't know how possible it would be for us to caress a song. Unless we've just got it up on Spotify and we're rubbing our phones.
I guess while Pink comes back, I'll check.
Okay, go ahead. Well, Addy bringing us the scoop on Korn.
Especially if it's not even Korn.
Can I point out that the trailer is titled Embiggen?
Something freaking expansion fetish.
Oh god, you're probably super right. Now I'm disturbed. You know,
Are you sticking and can't let go? Okay, it's not Korn, it's Slipknot.
Slipknot.
The other one.
The other one, yes. The marginally less shit one, but still pretty shit.
And it is in fact not the title of the album. The album title is Iowa, I think.
How's that spelled?
Judging by this cover. Like the state.
Oh, Iowa, okay. I mean, Addy, I forget, did you say, like, what you thought of the Square Enix Avengers game?
I wasn't impressed.
I don't blame you for not being impressed. That's for certain. I mean, part of this whole thing is people like me and Pink and Soon who are big enough nerds and big enough fans to assume that the marketing just fucking sucks and that Square wouldn't dump loads and loads of money and loads of development time into what effectively was a nothing game? I mean, at the same time, though, Square is not close to people's hearts. And there's always kind of the association people have with publishers with the game. And even if a game itself does nothing wrong, people will hate it because of the publisher that's attached. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of good EA games out there. But if I were to pitch to you any EA game other than Sims, what would you say?
It depends on how old is it and what the game is. Because, like, Mirror's Edge I liked, and that's an EA game. I liked both of them, actually. The second one not as much as the first one, but still.
That seems to be a universal sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the first one was, it actually had well thought out level design and shit like that. And then the second one, they went, you know what? Open world fetch quests.
Oh, there we go. Now it's a modern game.
Yeah. So, you know, if it was more like the first game, I would like it more, but...
Oh man, you know what I think? I feel like I remember hearing that one of the things they said was that this Avengers game is not going to be open world, right? And I feel like that actually was a thing people got pissed about.
I don't know. At this point, I kind of echo more freaking Warriors and Orochi shit.
I do not.
Because Warriors.
I don't want open world.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm saying I echo more freaking Warriors and Orochi shit. Because in Warriors and Orochi 3, there's let me think, like 50 to 100 chapters, something like that. And then as you play through, like there's like a 50 chapters is the main story, and then also as you speak with people and you become friends with them, because of course it's a Japanese game, of course there's a friend system, but as you speak with people and become friends with them, and as you go through the missions, and during the story people die, and other people who join you during the story are like, you know what, we have time travel, so why don't we go back and save them? And that's what you do. So instead of the 50 level long story, it's actually more like 100 to 150 level long thing of going through the same mission multiple times to save people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So it gave the game a good bit of longevity and actual story.
But artificial longevity doesn't really help. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that every free-roam game has nowadays is artificial longevity.
Well, yeah, but there's different things. Like, say, for the first time, a guy dies because there were no rams, there were no battering rams in his unit. So then you go back in time to a different place, you save the battering rams from being destroyed, and then you go back in time to another version of the first battle, where the battering rams are there so the guy doesn't die.
Well, that's interesting enough, but I don't think that's what they're going for with this. I think the description of the Marvel's Avengers game so far has been games as a service.
Ah, that's bad.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I have seen more bad games as a service games than good. In fact, I basically quit Ubisoft at this point because of games as a service.
We're in this unfortunate spot where it's probably just the future of AAA games.
Absolutely.
Because people are not willing to pay more than $60 for a new video game. But video game development only gets more and more expensive the better the graphics get. So it's at a point where either you spend extra money on the game or you only play indie games. It's a sad situation, but such is what it is. Unless somebody's able to innovate some really new processes that can streamline the whole process, I guess. Not to repeat the word processes too much, but I'm so hopeful about this game when we're not on the podcast, but every time we talk about it, then I'm like, oh. Like, something here is going to ruin this. I don't know if it's the devs, I don't know if it's the publishers, I don't know if it's the fans, it'll probably be the fans, but something will ruin this.
So I'm mildly excited. I still don't trust Square Enix with it, but I'm just happy that we're getting something.
To me, the best thing to say about this is that this is the game that killed Marvel Heroes. Which is a weird thing to say, because I loved Marvel Heroes. But at the same time, I loved Marvel Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
If they killed Marvel Heroes so it wouldn't compete with this, if this is Marvel Heroes but better, then I'm all in on it. Because Marvel Heroes was a fantastic game. It was games as a service, yes. It was a free-to-play game. They're all games as a service. But it did it very well.
That's the thing, it was free.
Yeah, it was free.
That's to be expected.
Yeah, it was free, but the graphics fucking sucked. And it also played like Diablo, and Diablo doesn't exactly have the hottest, most reactive gameplay ever.
But you know what I realized? Since this is Square, we might have guest characters.
No, we won't.
Wei Shen.
No.
No,
Yes.
Marvel is going to exert more control than that, Addy.
Yeah, probably.
I'm curious, Because they only showed off the 5 Avengers at launch, which I think to some people is a little scary. Because, I mean... Okay. Out of the Avengers, there is one Avenger who I would happily play and attach myself to. Hawkeye. Hawkeye is not in the fucking Avengers in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, soon we'll always have Hulk. But, Pink, there aren't really any Avengers you're really attached to in this game. I mean, obviously you appreciate Cap, but I don't think you really associate with him.
Right.
Cap's also a bit dead.
No, he's not. He's not fucking dead. For one thing, they spoiled the fact that his death was fake in the fucking gameplay bits that they showed off. Because they showed him in a fight, like, fucking at Avengers Tower or Stark Tower or something. And for another thing, they're just not going to kill off Cap to begin the series. I mean, for one thing, this means I definitely have a main set up, so get fucked, Pink. Because, hey, I love Kamala. I'll play Kamala, absolutely. But at the same time, the fact that they didn't show Kamala at launch, to me, it makes me wonder, are there more heroes in the game that they just haven't shown off yet?
That is an excellent question, because my initial thought upon them showcasing Kamala Khan is that they've definitely got more heroes, but they're in the pipeline.
Well, here's the thing. Kamala's the main character.
That is nifty.
They outright said Kamala's the main character. So I assume Kamala's going to be the one who you play as in the majority of the story missions. And just every now and then there's a side bit of, oh, let's play as Tony for a little bit. Oh, let's play as Hulk.
That would definitely make sense. And I can see why they do it. Because now it's the Avengers through somebody else's eyes.
And not only that,
and
you
not just
have the whole
an Avengers story.
Kamala as an Avengers fan having to reunite the Avengers herself.
Yes.
And
give me the best Avenger, Hobgoblin.
And everyone loves a good old young Avenger storyline. The new kid. They do it with Spider-Man. They do it with Kamala. They do it with Nova. Did they ever do it with old Speedball?
No, Speedball has never been an Avenger.
Right.
He might have been on the Avengers Academy team, but that's it.
Yeah, he might have, and that might have been where he had the interactions with Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
Oh man, Squirrel Girl is as a secret character. Fucking do it.
Squirrel Girl is we.
That wouldn't be a secret. They would promote the crap out of that.
They probably would. Okay, so I have a good question for Addie. Addie, how happy would you be if this Marvel Avengers game comes out and Squirrel Girl's in it and she plays identically to Ratatosker?
I'm conflicted because I hate Squirrel Girl, but I love Ratatosker.
Squirrel Girl was actually fantastic in Marvel Heroes. She had my favorite movement ability. You know how she got around quickly?
How?
By riding a literal tide of squirrels like Iceman rides his little ice slick.
Yes! I love it.
She surfs on them like they're a wave. She was also a fantastic DPS character who could have a horde of squirrel minions following her around just dealing tons of little bits of damage. Oh, I miss Marvel Heroes. It was so much fun. Provided so much goofy nonsense. But at the same time, this is following along the same ideas where it's going to be a kind of loot RPG multiplayer, extravaganza. But at the same time, the combat designer is the combat designer for God of War.
Right.
So, how different is he going to make things? Because there's already some God of War looking moves in this game. Thor just looks like he's Kratos right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamala, I can very clearly see some God of War influences in her, too. Except instead of throwing a hammer at people, she just throws people at people.
Right.
Or her hand. It makes me so hopeful. Alright. If there's anyone that... Alright, Pink, what would you say is a character that you would reasonably expect to be in the game on launch that you would absolutely take as your main? Hawkeye. Yeah, that's a good answer. But I would think if Hawkeye's in the game, they would show him off in the Avengers lineup.
You would think, but Hawkeye gets no love for some reason nowadays.
He's Ronin. That's why he's not shown off.
Well, I mean, if they did that, that would actually give a good explanation for Hawkeye to have more moves in his moveset. Because, I mean, the problem Hawkeye always has when you put him in video games is that all of his moves are, oh, I will shoot an arrow at you, sir.
Right.
And whenever they bring in Ronin, then they can at least add some katana moves and some ninja stuff. And Marvel Heroes even went to the extent of bringing in some of his, what was it, Colossus? No, not Colossus. What was his?
Goliath.
Goliath. They brought in some of his Goliath stuff. Like he could get a exclusive setup where every time he got into melee, every time he took a hit in melee or dealt a hit in melee, he would get a little bit bigger and become a little bit stronger and tankier. Which was amusing, because Hawkeye would just get hit 10 times, and then he'd suddenly be twice as big. I'm hopeful. I want something to replace the Marvel Heroes itch, partially. But at the same time, I want this to be a game to be something of its own, as well. At least partially because I recognize there are a lot of people for whom Marvel Heroes did not appeal. And I mean, there are a lot of people who never were willing to try Marvel Heroes because the launch was so disastrous. Like, I mean, Addy, I'm going to assume, never even looked at Marvel Heroes.
Nope.
Pink, did you ever give Marvel Heroes a shot after the disastrous launch? I'll take that as a no. Because he just left the fucking Discord call. I'll take that as a hard no. Alright. You know what? I think we've probably spent enough time talking about Avengers then. Addy.
Yes, give me a sec to look it up.
Do you know about anything going up on your own individual channel, though?
Well, not this week, no.
Other than a live stream of Prey.
Yeah, that's coming out on praise, though.
The live unedited version. Behind the scenes. I can say on my own channel, on Tuesday, I'll be coming out with part 2 of Prison Architect. I don't know if I'll continue that. I would like to, but at the same time, if I go like a week without recording, I forget where the fuck I am. And on...
I know that feeling.
Yep. And on Thursday, the first episode of my recording of Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. My Pachacuti playthrough. My first ever playthrough of Gathering Storm.
Nice.
Yeah. Pink, you got anything up on your channel?
I need to fix my second episode of Civ 6 before that can go out, because there's like probably 10 minutes worth of audio where it just cuts out and then comes back on. So I need to go like do some post commentary over that and then get it done, because everything else came out fine. It's just this little spot where for like 10 minutes there's no audio on my end.
Or just make a little technical difficulties thing that lasts 10 seconds like I do.
True.
I always put goofy music.
That sounds like less work, so I'll probably do that.
Now, here's what you gotta do, is you gotta make one universal technical difficulties little clip that you just put in anytime there's a problem.
Perfect.
And for me, I go with this goofy track from Silent Hill 1 that plays during the blooper reel. I would also recommend the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
The dog ending.
What?
The dog ending.
Dog? No, that's from Silent Hill 2.
Well, yeah, but put in that. I'm really going to recommend that.
Oh, the dog barking credits?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's good. That one's really good. We need to not ever explain to Pink what dog ending means. Oh, man. I can't wait for the day I finally get Mike on this podcast, so the three of us can talk about Silent Hill 2 and just leave Pink in the dark.
I'll be standing in the corner, absorbing it all in and having no idea what's going on.
You can't wait for the day we can have Mike on the podcast so he can yell at us for being lost at the boat section for 15 minutes.
I don't think he's gonna yell. I think he's just gonna fucking laugh. Like we did after we realized our mistake. Pink, did we ever tell you what we were fucking up with the boat section?
Weren't you going in circles?
We were going in circles, but there is a very clear shining spotlight, a fucking a light tower that you were supposed to go to that we must have passed several times, but just entirely ignored it because we figured, oh, well, if we look at the map, it looks like we should be going about north, so let's just guess at where north is and go there. And we spent 15 fucking minutes talking about the Silent Hill movie and whatever. I watched that recording the other day, and I love the soul-crushing moment where we arrive at the docks, and we're like, we're finally here! James, why aren't you parking the boat? Why aren't you getting out of the boat? James, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing anything? And then we get close enough to see that we've actually just gone in a complete fucking circle back to where we started. And Addie's like, alright, well, I'm gonna try and find north again. Meanwhile, in the background, I'm looking up on my phone how to get to hotel.
Because here's the thing. The map, with how it showed it, where we came out, would have been, like a direct line to where the hotel is on the map. So I was like, well, obviously, I get into the boat, I turn it 90 degrees so I can actually go in a straight line, and I'll get there eventually.
But
apparently,
there's another key piece of information here, and that it is foggy as fuck.
Yeah.
So reasonably, no person should be expected to be able to reckon a straight line through that crazy of fog. So there's a light tower, a lighthouse that we just entirely ignore.
No, I think we never even saw the light because I never turned that way because I didn't think that there would be any reason to turn that way.
Oh man,
so
the only way it could have been worse would have been if we fucking shipwrecked on the island in the middle of Toluca Lake. Well, guess we're here now. Just us and the single church. Oh man. Okay, do we know what's coming out on the channel, Addy?
Yes. So, on Monday, we have the first episode of Tekken Tag 2.
Oh, damn.
And then, on Friday, we have Worms WND. The one with... Yeah, the one with frickin'... what the hell did I name?
We recorded that, like, it couldn't have been more than a month ago, but it feels forever ago.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was 3 months ago, I want to say. Like, it was just... it was literally the week before I started work. So...
Right. I remember that, yes.
So, 3 months ago. A pretty long time, yes.
I can never predict what we're going to get out of recordings. I fucking swear. Because Worms Armageddon, I was like, oh, clearly this is going to be loads of content. Then we get in there and it's just like, Yet somehow we get, like, crazy content out of... What was it that we just spent a ton of time on recently? It was semi-recently.
Zoo Tycoon?
Zoo Tycoon. Zoo Tycoon was a hidden mine, yes.
Yep.
Freaking Farming Sim?
Farming Sim we didn't get as much as I expected with that one, honestly.
Huh. I'm surprised we got freaking low out of Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah, well, that one was a good one. I was surprised. Most of Prey was mostly pretty slow, but Prey had one really good moment.
Speaking of, put up a timestamp.
Oh, Christ.
Right. So I need to get the freaking picture tab open on my thing.
I'll edit the timestamp for whenever it gets, whenever you put the video up. The picture. Oh, pff. Well, there we go. That babe... I don't know what I like better. The face, the silly clickbait, or the fucking titles. The fact that he's got both tag titles on his waist, and he's got a fucking NXT tag title and a women's tag title on either leg is killing me. Like, the person just starts wearing the title belt as their kneecaps.
That picture is fantastic.
And the text along the top that just goes, Einstein was a motherfucker. Oh, man. Oh, that's good.
I actually put all of this together from, well, not all of them. I took a freaking Triple H base for the Einstein picture, but everything else I did from scratch. Even the close button, the fake close button, and all that.
Splendid.
It's fantastic.
So yeah, this is what we got out of the pre-recording.
Hey, it was worth it.
Also, we'll put up another timestamp because I just remembered that I have another thing. So, video editing can be pretty wild sometimes.
Great. That's going to be so tiny in the video.
Yeah.
It's just going to be black, and then there's just tiny text in the center. Create smut. Oh, God. Oh, man. Whew. All right. So, we've got Worms WMD coming up on the channel, and
Tekken Tag.
Tekken Tag, yes. All right. Pink, what you been up to in the past week, man?
Alright, so I finally got down to start rewatching, or not rewatching, it would be watching for the first time. Watching some more The Good Place.
How far did you get?
I believe I'm up to episode 8 of season 2.
Ooh, all right. So, spoilers for The Good Place.
Yeah, starting now.
Since The Good Place is a very decompressed storyline, I don't remember episode numbers.
Right. How many episodes are there per season?
Roughly 10, maybe 11 or 12.
Alright, so I'm almost up to, not episode, season 3. Because when last I left off, Michael had gotten his promotion and everyone in the bad place thinks that they've all escaped to the medium place.
Yes.
So, like the first season, stuff is starting to hit the fan. So,
Yes, it is.
yep. I don't know if I should be expecting another swerve like I was expecting in the first season, or if it's gonna play out actually pretty neutrally, but either way, it's been a fantastic season thus far.
That's a pretty good question. Things are going to hit the fan next episode even harder, I assure you.
I believe it.
With that said, I think episode 8 of season 2 was the only one in the entire series that I've missed most of. I don't remember what I was doing, but I wasn't there for most of it. I only was there for the very ending once they had already fooled the demons. But at that point in the series, Michael's gone through several changes as a character, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, there was a swerve, obviously, in the season 1 to season 2 transition. But were you expecting them to immediately swerve you again with, oh, hey, guess what? Michael's turning face.
I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into the second season, but it's all been great so far.
Season 2 is pretty spectacular. I'd almost be inclined, I don't know. I was gonna say season 2 is my favorite season, but I also really loved season 3. And season 1 was a fucking original.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, season 2 is all around great. And season 2, the finale definitely does something interesting. I don't know that it's entirely what you're expecting. In fact, I would say you're probably not expecting what they're going to do. But
probably not.
It's something that, again, leads into a very interesting direction. So, by the point you're at in the series, have they already had the tape revealed of Chidi and Eleanor?
Eleanor, in this last episode, I want to say, she showed the tape to Chidi, and nothing has really come from it yet.
Okay, because that tape does have consequences.
I believe so.
Across multiple seasons. Now, I forget, what were Jason and Tahani up to at that point?
They were trying to get married, then they weren't.
Which Janet was pissed about, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Janet was somehow able to hold on to that memory despite her multiple deaths and rebirths.
Yes.
Yeah, this all is stuff that very much leads into Season 3. The Janet thing definitely has major effects. Well, it's the good place. Nearly everything that happens, even the littlest side bits, have major effects later on.
Yep.
At this point, I feel like I shouldn't even have to say that.
Even that big tray of paper clips made a comeback.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, the very first joke the series cracked has a pretty big impact in Season 3. Do you even remember what the very first joke
I probably don't. It's like, I remember plenty of stuff from the first episode, but the first thing they crack, I don't remember. I don't think I do.
Does the name Doug Forsett ring any bells?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay, because that's pretty important. And oddly enough, not related to Donkey Doug, so far as I'm aware. But there is an importance of Doug. The name Doug is definitely very important in Season 3. It's the good place. You know it.
Yep.
You know how it do. That is a fantastic series.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I don't know if I've done anything else this week. Let's see. We probably played Smite. I have not done anything else on my own. I did play some Civilization 6 some more on my own free time, trying out the domination-based civs.
Yes, you mentioned in the Discord that you thought Solomon and Corvinus were generally pretty strong, but Alexander had the issue of resources.
Yes. Like, the Ottoman Empire and the Hungarian Empire, they were all... they were actually very easy to understand. Suleiman has... I don't know, probably the best overall domination type play style, in my opinion.
He doesn't have to worry about loyalty, that's the key thing.
Yes. He doesn't have to worry about loyalty. I believe the cities that he captures either doesn't lose population or it's only halved.
Does not lose population at all.
Does not lose population, which is another big plus in his favor.
And half the population is turned into Janissaries immediately.
Yes.
That Janissaries and population is actually a mechanic.
Yes. The thing about Janissaries is if you train them in the cities you captured, you don't lose a population, but if you train them in cities that you've made yourself, you will lose a population.
So it
is better.
It's a way to discourage you from making Janissaries out of your own population, your native population.
Yes.
Which is a bit strange, because didn't they make Janissaries out of just Christian citizens?
No, I don't know about the whole Janissaries thing. I know that freaking Hungarian children were kidnapped and turned into Janissaries. And that's basically all of my knowledge on them.
The Ottomans never actually successfully conquered Hungary, though, did they?
They did.
Oh, right, I forgot. Silly me.
For like a good 80 years, I think. If not more.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I remember that. Ugh. The Ottomans definitely have that as a big benefit. And I think that kind of changes depending on what you're working with. I will say so far the only domination civ I've played in Civ 6 as a domination civ is Persia, and Persia I didn't have too bad of a loyalty problem. For the most part, any cities I captured that had bad loyalty, I just raised.
Right.
Well, you don't like me? Alright, die. But if you settle your cities close enough, then they will just have infectious loyalty. The key thing is to build the monument first things first. Ignore everything else and just get the monument going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to actually, oddly enough, you need to hope that they hadn't built a monument themselves. Because if they don't have a monument, you can just buy one. But if they did have a monument,
Then you have to repair it, yeah.
Your army will break it, and it needs to be repaired, which takes actual turns to do, and is not instantaneous. It's very strange. That is definitely one key thing that, looking back, like, that is probably the factor that guarantees that Mali cannot be a domination civ. Because I kept seeing, like, Mali is actually ranked really low tier for military. And I was like, why? They can just buy units instead of producing them. And I was like, oh! Because repairing monuments is going to take fucking ever with Mali. Because they get minus 30 production, and mines don't produce production for them either.
Yep.
And what about Corvinus? I know his whole thing is that he can levy city-states, and he makes their military stronger.
Yep, because I believe if you levy the city-states' armies, and you're able to upgrade them, so like if you've levied a city-state with a bunch of warriors, and you've got like the swordsman or the musketman upgrades available, it's like 70% off to upgrade them. So it's more efficient to levy a city-state and use that as your army than it is to actually have your own army.
I wonder how...
hey, upgrades for you guys are basically free. I won't be allowed to use you in 30 turns, but then, hey, I'll just levy you again.
Don't they actually love it when you levy them? Like, you get an envoy every time you levy them?
I think you do.
It's either Corvinus gets that, or that's one of the city-state suzerain bonuses.
Right.
But
I wonder how well they represented Matthias, considering that he's known as Matthias the Rightful over here.
He's presented as being kind of a
or the Righteous, rather.
He's presented as kind of a youngish, blonde, like, knight in shining armor.
More or less. Although the stories we have of him paint him as more of a freaking, like, a middle-aged king who... supposed to be actual real story. Dresses up as hobos to go around and survey the people.
I mean, every middle-aged person was young at some point.
True.
That is definitely a thing that you notice with these, like, why did they go with this age for this person? Like, I saw someone point out in a compilation, like, Pericles gets older in every Civ game he's in. There's someone else that's old, but everybody thought it was weird for them being old, and I forget who. Oh, they made Solomon a lot younger. In Civ 5, Solomon was older, had a much larger beard, and had a massive hat. Which I know is crazy, because his hat is already quite large in Civ 6.
Right. How could it get any bigger?
I think he traded his bigger hat for being a decent tier. Because in Civ 5, the Ottomans were not great. They weren't the worst, because that honor goes to Carthage and Byzantium, but they weren't fantastic either.
Just wait for Civ 7 where he will be a hat.
The Otto Hat Empire.
Yeah.
You see the Janissaries coming, and you see their symbol is just the Janissary hat, and you're like, oh, well, clearly it's Janissary troopers. No, you're being attacked by a literal army of Janissary hats.
Who needs population when the hats are rabid as well?
Oh, man. the civs that they added in Gathering Storm, I've only been able to play with Gathering Storm for a little bit, but it seems like the Gathering Storm civs they added are the most fun ones. It seems like that's where they got the most original civ designs out, for the most part. There are some original ones in Vanilla and Rising Storm, don't get me wrong. I love Arabia,
Yeah.
I love Saladin.
Mm-hmm.
But Coupe is a huge weirdo.
Yes, absolutely. I think I've had the most fun playing as Coupe because everything about him is just kind of weird. You know, you start off in the ocean, nobody else does that. You're actually encouraged not to make any upgrades to your land.
You get culture bombs from fishing boats.
Yes! The seas are yours! You own it all!
There are certain maps, like there's one called Terra, where everyone starts on one big continent and there's just several islands floating around it. And apparently Coupe dominates there because he can just go and fucking colonize all the islands immediately.
Yes.
Which, it's only him and Harold Hardrada that can sail on oceans immediately, right?
Right, and even Harold, I'm pretty sure, still has to
Research
go
sailing.
through that tech tree. He just gets to go through it faster.
And Harold has no real benefit outside of that, otherwise Harold sucks.
Yes.
Like, I'm pretty sure Harold is the lowest of low tiers in Civ 6 right now.
Absolutely, and deservedly so. Everything about him is just terrible.
Well, it's nice that he gets a good galley, because early game naval warfare, everyone sucks except him and Dido.
Yep.
I do find it funny, though, because Harold Hardrada is pretty much a follow-up to Harold Bluetooth in Civ 5 as Denmark. And guess what? In Civ 5, Denmark was also the lowest tier. Every Civ game, you know which faction is the worst, because it's the Viking faction. Guaranteed. Without fail. I don't know why they keep doing this.
It sucks to be a Viking.
Civ 5, it was actually worse. Because they still had the bonuses to pillaging stuff that's useless, right?
Right.
But they didn't have the ability to cross the ocean. That was exclusive to Polynesia.
Well then.
Yeah. Get fucked, Harold Bluetooth.
He needs to send his troops over Bluetooth.
We have invented Bluetooth. Harold Bluetooth is now the most OP Civ in the game. Or he would be if we didn't kill him on turn 10. But yes, Civ's Gathering Storm introduces so many weirdos. Coupe is probably the biggest weirdo, but I think Mansa Musa is in solid competition with him. Have you got to play Mansa Musa yet, Pink?
I have not.
Oh, he's a huge weirdo. 'Cause the early game is rough. Coupe's in a good spot in the early game. Mansa Musa is not. Because Mansa Musa's whole thing is he doesn't get production, but he does get tons of money, right?
Right.
Well, in the early game, you're getting no fucking money whatsoever. If you are making 7 gold a turn in the early game, you're rich. And when I mean early game, I mean early game. I'm talking like ancient era, right?
Right.
But once you cross that hurdle, Mansa Musa is actually fantastic. But he's in a weird spot where he also has to, like, sacrifice his early game defenses and build a scout because he needs Golden Age points. Because one of his central mechanics is with every Golden Age, he gets an extra trade route. He's a weird character. Oh, he also, of course, is in a spot where since he's not very good for domination, not very good for production. For one thing, it takes him 4 fucking ever to build walls because you can't buy walls.
Right.
For another thing, particularly if you play like True Start Africa, it's like, oh hey, the Zulus are over there.
Yeah, that's not good. That's actually quite terrible.
Yep. You need to hope to God that you can buy off Shaka so he'll leave you alone. And that the grievances system is something entirely different. Because the old warmongering system in Rise and Fall only cared about whether or not you were directly attacking people. Whereas grievances means you can actually do bad things that aren't killing people. And boy, let me tell you, people were really pissed that I kept spreading Islam into the Zulu without their permission. Apparently, religious colonialism is bad. Whoopsie. And then I made Canada Muslim, and then it was like, oh, well, fuck me, I guess. But, I mean, when you're playing as the Malay, you pretty much have to. Because money and religion are the only things you're good at.
Yep.
And you have to try and carry that out into a victory. You're really good at money and religion, but it's the only thing you're good at. Corvinus is a weirdo. Because, like, levying city-states is something I don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something
That's why I didn't initially play Hungary. I was like, I'm really excited to have Addy's home country in the game, but I don't levy city-states. His playstyle to me looks very anti-pink, so I don't think I want to play this guy.
So what would levying be? Would it be enforcing taxes? Because he loved his taxes.
So what it is there are several small countries that are played by the AI called city-states. And everyone generates envoys over time using diplomatic favor, and you can send those envoys to each city-state to increase your diplomatic relations with them, which gets you a variety of benefits. And if you have the most envoys with a city-state, you are its suzerain, which means basically they'll listen and do whatever you tell them. And if you are the suzerain of a city-state, you can pay them money to levy their military, and they'll basically give you their entire military for your own personal use.
Ah, yes, the Black Army.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Corvinus' unique unit is the Black Army. He can purchase it for himself as well, and it's like supposed to be one of the strongest swordsmen in the game, right, Pink?
Right.
Now, the Black Army was a medieval unit, wasn't it?
Yes.
So is it a replacement for the swordsmen you get from ironworking, or does it just pop up once you get like a civic in the medieval age?
It is, I want to say, I think it is a replacement for the Iron Swordsman.
Oh shit. Well then the Black Army arrives around the same time as Roman legionaries. That seems a little weird. But Hungary does seem to be in a good spot militarily, because they're one of the only civs that actually get two unique units in different eras. Lots of other civs have a time period where generally they are better off militarily. Like, Arabia does really well in medieval times, because that's when they get the Mamluks. Or Rome does really well in classical times, because that's when they get the legions. Hungary gets to have both the Black Army in classical and medieval times, and they get to have the Hussars in the industrial era.
Ah, yes, the Hussars.
So Hungary seems to be one of the strongest military powers.
Yeah, so here's the thing with the Black Army from what I remember. Basically nearly bankrupted the entire country. Then after Matthias died, other like 15 kings came and went because nobody could stay on the throne. And then came one guy and genuinely just more or less bankrupted the country. Like it was barely recovered.
But did the Black Army do some good killing while they were on the bankroll?
Yes, I also think they banished Matthias when he didn't pay them. So don't quote me on that because I'm really shit at medieval history and Hungarian history in general. So
I actually googled the Black Army is actually the light cavalry unit, and not the swordsman unit.
Oh, they come with horseback riding.
Right. I want to say they replaced the courser.
Oh, the courser. Okay, they do not come with horseback riding. They're actually one of the late medieval, early Renaissance units.
I think it's early medieval.
I don't know for sure. I haven't played too much with Gathering Storm. I definitely know that the knight arrives with stirrups and fairly early in the medieval era.
Right.
And are the Hussars also considered light cavalry? I haven't got to the industrial era in any of my games so far.
They would definitely be. Hussars are very much entwined with horses.
Yeah. Because I think they come after the Black Army. He actually goes from one unique unit and upgrades to another unique unit.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Do the Hussars actually get to retain the upgrades that the Black Army has if you upgrade your Black Army units into Hussars?
I believe so.
There were some units in Civ 5 where you wanted to spam the unique unit as much as possible, so that eventually when you passed on the era, you could upgrade them and they would keep certain benefits.
Ah.
I don't know if they kept it, but like the Impy in Civ 5 for the Zulu would keep their ridiculous flanking bonuses if you upgraded them into infantry or whatever.
Nice.
I have no idea how training with spears somehow trains you to be better at flanking with guns, but you know. And the other ability Hungary has is buffs when they build on rivers, right?
Yes. If you put a district across a river from your capital, I think the production is increased by like 50%.
Probably a reference to Budapest, because Budapest is actually two cities that got merged.
Yes.
Are they on the Danube?
Yeah.
Yep, because I think that ability is actually called Pearl of the Danube.
Yep.
Yeah, because Budapest used to be two cities called Buda and Pest.
Didn't it used to be 3?
I don't know, I have heard two.
I thought I heard 3, and like there was Buda, there was Pest, and there was one third city that was unlucky enough to have its name just dropped.
I don't know. From how I heard it, it was two cities, Buda and Pest, and then they got merged because they were like, well, we're close enough anyway. And that's
We're
how
like 2
we got
minutes
the
away
capital.
from each other. Let's just merge. This is stupid.
Oh,
Yeah.
Addy, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to mention that freaking thing that they do over there is that they have both cities insignia or whatever show, like the crest. And I think that freaking the crest is just two crests, and both of them are like one half of the freaking bridge that ties them together or something. But I forget.
I always like mixed crests. The Union Jack is always nice for that. But I want to go ahead and mention, in the game I recorded as Pachacuti, my neighbor was Hungary. And I was like, hey, I'm going to take this Plains Hill by the river. It looks really nice. I want it. Then Hungary took it by putting guess what city on it.
What?
Miskels.
Huh. Actually, depending on which river that was, could be accurate. Because we also have a river.
I mean, it's just smart to put cities on rivers, really.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, like, there's at least one other huge weirdo in Gathering Storm. But at the current moment, well, obviously the Incans are weird because they're like, oh, let's build next to mountains, the terrain that everybody else thinks is useless. And Canada loves their ice.
Yeah.
Fuckers. And you don't get to declare surprise wars on them, which means Persia hates them. What do I do? But other than that, like, Sweden's fairly conventional.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ottomans are fairly conventional. They're a good military power, but they're a fairly conventional one.
Yeah. There's nothing too weird about them.
And of course, there's Eleanor de Aquitaine, and she's pretty much just the same, but with more of a loyalty focus.
Yeah.
A different way to play domination, but still a way to play domination. It does count as a domination victory if you get all the cities flipped to you through loyalty, right?
Yes, that's how I've done it to Poland and France as Eleanor.
Well, she's not the leader of Poland, so if you're able to do that, that's pretty impressive.
I did one domination victory with the loyalty switching while playing as Poland, and then another as France.
You know, now you've given me an idea, though. They should totally have mix and match civs and leaders.
That'd be fun.
Imagine some of the wacky playstyles that would pop up.
So hey, I heard you like Europe. So we here at the Habsburg family have decided, basically,
It's Freaky Friday in Europe.
yeah.
The new king of England, Genghis Khan, is going to war with the new king of France, Poundmaker.
the new king of England, Genghis Khan, is going to war with the new king of France, Genghis Khan. It's the
Civilization
freaking
7. Oops, all Genghis.
yeah, it's the one war where freaking I think it was the Netherlands that fought itself in a war because they were confused.
I thought you were talking about that incident where the German army destroyed itself because they thought the Ottomans had arrived. You guys ever hear that?
It might be that one. It might be that one. I might be thinking of that one.
I love that story because imagine how it looked to the Ottomans when they arrived. Like, there's just corpses all over the place and explosions, and they're like, what the fuck?
Also, fun fact. Apparently, the closest approximation to the actual real pronunciation of Genghis Khan is Chengiz Khan. Big Chengiz in the house.
I feel like I've definitely heard that before, Chinggis. And it works because Genghis in Civ 6 is a pretty big boy.
Yeah.
Big Chengiz is so fat he conquered all of freaking Europe. Most of it, anyway.
He had to sit on all of Asia.
Yeah.
There'd definitely be some wacky Civ and leader combinations. Because there's at least one Civ... I can't exactly think of who, but there's at least one Civ that the leader does something downright fucking weird. Like,
just imagine, yeah?
I mean, Mali would be in a bad spot with any leader other than Mansa Musa. Alright, you are economically crippled and you don't get trade routes for every golden age. Go fuck yourself.
I imagine it's like a freaking true start but with the USA, but the leader is Gandhi.
That actually wouldn't be bad. America's unique trade is pretty good. They are the one who just get a free wildcard policy no matter what, right, Pink?
Yes.
No, wait. They get a free diplomatic policy.
Is it diplomatic? Yes,
the Greeks
it is.
that get a free wild card.
Yeah.
And Russia gets a free military card? Is it Russia?
I don't know. I haven't played Russia. Poland is another one where one military card gets transferred to the wild card slot.
Yeah, a military card gets turned into a wild card slot, but there's someone who just gets an extra military card. It's not the Zulu, is it? I don't know. Huh.
If Russia's specific freaking skill is not the dead man's hand, where if you kill Russia, so dies everyone else.
Russia's skill is being the most top tier civ in the game.
Right. So I don't know if they would even need a military card, because aren't they more focused in like everything else?
Religion,
faith, same thing. Science, culture.
Religion, and more religion, really.
Yeah.
But the Lavra generates great writer points, so really it's religion and culture for them.
Right.
You haven't played Russia yet? I have. Playing Russia is stupid. Because they get great writers for doing absolutely fucking nothing. I genuinely could not build enough cultural centers to contain the amount of great books that were being written. There's too many books and not enough bookshelves. What do I do? There are definitely some combinations that would be OP. Gandhi's pretty garbage with India, but you put him with Canada and suddenly he's in a much better position.
Right.
Because Canada's already in a position of you don't want to declare war against them because you can't declare surprise wars and all that. And then Gandhi, who gets double war weariness, it's like, well, get fucked. Yeah. And, does Poundmaker or is it the Cree that get the free trade route as soon as they get pottery?
Yes, that's Poundmaker.
That's Pound Maker, okay. Because there are some civs that would definitely benefit from that as well. That would be interesting. Someone needs to make a mod that is just leader randomizer.
Right.
I would love to see that. If only for we would have a moment of, hello, I am Teddy Roosevelt, President of Korea. Oh man, as if Korea needed to be more of a defensive powerhouse. Civ 6.
Hello, I'm Teddy Roosevelt, great, glorious leader of Korea, of West Korea.
Civ 6 is a good game. I want to play more of it.
Indeed.
Today,
I thought about buying it for PS4, and then I was like, oh right, no crossplay.
Actually, recently, I think everyone's saying that PlayStation, Sony now is allowing crossplay on all systems.
Sony released a thing saying, you know what? Sure, go ahead. Add crossplay to your games. I freaking dare you. And that's
right.
So yeah,
the next generation of consoles is coming out soon, so it's like you're basically not allowed to be exclusive anymore.
They did announce cross saves for every every platform except Switch, I think.
but cross saves is not good because I still can't run the freaking thing on my PC.
Yes,
probably.
I know, but it's progress. I don't think any of us here are getting hyped for the cross saves on a game we don't have on other platforms. Yeah, let me spend fucking $60 again to get the game on Switch just to dick around with it. I guess we should go ahead. Pink, what else have you played this week? Or done this week, I guess.
I don't know that I've done anything else. I think that was it.
Alright, Addy.
Yeah.
What have you done this week?
I finished Batman Arkham Knight.
Okay, that ending fucking sucked, didn't it?
So, I got everything, I captured 5 people, I start up the Nightfall, and then the game's like, you know what, no ending for you, 100%. And I go, alright, to the bid with you. And that's what it is.
The game, I can't believe the audacity of saying you don't get to see the ending unless you get all Riddler trophies.
Yeah. That's the thing that made me delete the game, was because I love the Riddler. I don't love the Riddler trophies. They sucked.
Yep. And how about the reveal of who the Arkham Knight is? You remember during the build-up to that game where they said the Arkham Knight was an entirely new character?
Yeah, and then it's Jensen.
It's Jensen. It's Adam Jensen. They did this to me. They took it all away from me.
The Joker killed my girlfriend.
The Joker made me a robot. What do I do?
Yeah. The Joker hacked me and put me into the past. Save me, Bruce.
The Joker gave me cool sword arms. What do I do? Damn you, Joker. Pink.
There's a J on his forehead for Jensen.
You're not wrong. That's the sad part of that. You're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong. Only partially.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say the real thing, just because of spoilers.
Fuck it. It's Arkham Knight. It's been out for what, 4 years now?
Yeah, Pink, do you care about Arkham Knight?
More. No, not at all.
Arkham Knight is hard
Alright.
trash. I fucking hate it.
Alright, Arkham Knight is Jensen Todd. Jensen Tood.
Jensen dude.
It's fucking Red Hood. They said that he was a new character. He was actually just Red Hood. And there are so many problems with the way they handle him. Because he spends the entire game working towards effectively genocide of the entirety of the United States, right? In the game's ending, it's like, oh, he's a hero. Because he's Jason Todd.
Yeah, I wish they would have done more with the Joker living in Batman's brain and thus showing him killing Jason Todd and shit.
I wish they would have done Joker living in Batman's brain. Fuck that. Joker died at the end of
Well-
Arkham City. Let it be.
Yeah, I would have rather they freaking taken the Joker out of the game. But you know, if you have to choose one bad thing to save, then I'll take that over freaking. Oh boy, where to start? The car.
You say, "Oh boy, where to start the car?" Like you're a detective trying to piece together all the bits of evidence.
Yeah, I am
You're in detective mode.
skimming. Yeah, I'm skimming through the freaking through the footage by just doing circles with my analog stick, trying to find small bits and pieces as to where this game went wrong.
Fuck the detective mode in Arkham Knight. It sucks.
The detective mode is. It is. I really didn't like how freaking the in-game play detective mode. I mean the like one where you actually see people through the walls. That's fine, and then you get to actually try to do detective shit, and it sucks ass. Cause like freaking getting pig was not hard because of finding the freaking bodies, because there's just guys for that. Or editing. Which, by the way, can I just say, I dislike this freaking notion that just going, okay, here's a mission, I won't tell you where the mission is, just do it, is a good thing for exploration. I disagree with this notion, and I disagree with this game even more so, but...
There's a Professor Pig corpse somewhere.
Yeah. You know, I found him after a while, but the thing is, like, there was one part where I went, okay, I literally wouldn't have figured this out without a guide. Because there's one dude, who's hanged in, like, a remote area, you know, the same with everybody else. But he also has a bullet in his arm that you have to find, but the bullet is not highlighted.
No,
You just have to look at the arm. You just have to look at the arm and go, yes, obviously there's something in this arm that looks the same as every other freaking clone model that we've used for these people.
But hey, the boss fight wasn't bad. That's the best that can be said for that.
Which boy? Oh, the pig?
Yeah. It was generic, but it existed. It wasn't bad. It was enjoyable fighting the dolls. And he kept hucking butcher's knives at you, which I thought was pretty funny.
I had on 12 flashbacks, I'm gonna be real. But yeah, the car. The car parts. Well, let's go through this. Hey, pig.
Question.
The suck didn't stop.
Question.
But yeah, question.
Did you get to the Deathstroke boss fight?
No.
You remember the Arkham Knight tank boss fight?
Yes.
It is just that
I
boss
hated
fight.
it.
It is just that boss fight again.
Shit.
And after you
Good thing I didn't do it.
After you beat the tank, Deathstroke jumps out of the tank, and he's like, "I got you now, Batman." Batman catches him in midair with a chokeslam. Boss fight over. Done.
Nice.
Deathstroke, the evil Batman, defeated with a single move.
Obviously the best handling of Slade.
Yes, clearly.
I still like to me, Slade is the freaking the Teen Titans show one. The one that died and Robin was still having freaking PTSD that he was in the house.
Yep.
That was a good Deathstroke. Retroactively. Looking back. Yeah. Very a lot better than this game's. But so Riddler, for whatever reason, sees that Batman bought himself a freaking Hot Wheels, and he goes, "You know what? I will give Batman the codes to these freaking impossible pistons that I set up, these oversized pistons from Minecraft that I set up on these racetracks that I don't know when I will freaking carve out, but I will have them carved out. And I'm just gonna have him race through the track 3 times at faster speed with either more or less things moving with each lap. And somehow that's going to prove that I am smarter than him. Somehow.
as incredibly dumb as it was, the idea of Riddler being like, oh, well, I'm gonna make Batman do a bunch of races. Ha ha ha, I so please myself. That's dumb enough. What fucking gets me is, when the fuck did Riddler find the time to build massive underground racing stadiums, complete with
That's what I'm
fucking
saying as well.
mechanisms?
That's what I'm saying as well. That part is also stupid, and also the freaking racing sucks ass because they didn't bother to give the car a good control.
No, absolutely not, because it's built to be a fucking tank.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then I did all of those. I did all of the races. I did all of them good. I freed Catwoman. I fight with Riddler. He comes out with a bloody mech. I beat his ass. And then he's like, you know what? No, force field. In fact, collect all of the Riddler trophies. And I was like, okay, Enigma. Okay, Enigma, I will see you at lunch. I'm done. I'm gone.
Batman's fine with letting this one get away.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck that. Somebody will find those trophies. Some guy's just gonna find a trophy under his sandwich or something.
And the thing is, I'm out there looking for Man-Bat, and then freaking the Riddler just comes on freaking loudspeaker. He's like, Batman, aren't you worried that someone's gonna find one of my trophies and I will execute them? No, I'm not. Because you will not do it, because you want me to find it.
Man-Bat was the worst well, one of the worst parts. Because every fucking time it's a jump scare. Like, Arkham as a series loved its jump scares, but Man-Bat was one of the worst.
I only got jump scared by Man-Bat twice, and by which I mean I only got the jump scare cutscene twice. And then actually I might have had an easier time with him because instead of waiting for him to show up on a freaking roof, I started the mission and just flew around, and then after a while his echolocation team just came up on the radar. So I just went there and freaking tackled him in midair.
And the resolution to that is so underwhelming.
Yeah, it might as well not have happened at all.
And of course there's Firefly. It's like, oh, chase him in the streets 4 times. There you go, done.
Yeah, I didn't even do Firefly.
It's just Batmobile chases, and then he's done.
Alright, I'm glad I didn't do Firefly. Let's see, what else was there?
There are some good ones. The Two-Face missions are good.
I disagree.
They're timed stealth missions. It forces you to go quickly.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the issue. It was just more just that I was so bored with everything at that point, I guess.
Well, I mean,
like,
everything that added to Arkham Knight was bad, but there was still the core of Arkham Asylum that's there, and Arkham Asylum is good.
Yeah.
Anything that properly built on the core, like the Two-Face missions, I think did solid. The Penguin missions were good too, because you actually got to play as Nightwing.
My favorite thing with the Two-Face missions was I turned his head off. So I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna swoop down now. I'm gonna kick him, and then I'll punch him out, and then I just kill all of his people with a gun because I'm Batman. But yeah. So instead of that, I dismounted his gun and tried to jump down and kick him, but in midair, Bruce decided he doesn't want to kick Two-Face. No, he kicks a random thug. So he kicks a random thug and knock him out. Two-Face tries to shoot me. He blows up. Two-Face is out.
Oh my god, I can't believe Harvey Dent is fucking dead.
So yeah, Two-Face blew himself up with a shotgun. So at least that part was fun.
Now, I forget, how did you get Arkham Knight?
It was free with PS Plus, and also it's on Game Pass, so both of those.
They didn't give out any DLC, though, right?
Well, the free PlayStation DLC.
So not Red Hood?
No, not Red Hood.
Okay.
So, yeah?
No, go ahead.
I just want to complain more about the freaking not telling you where to go design of quote-unquote freaking being adventurous in a video game. Because my favorite missions were, well, the freaking Azrael ones, because they were just fighting trials and also Azrael. And it was like, okay, so Azrael is here in the story, we'll introduce you to his missions, and after that you just go and find him. Where is he? Friggin' figure it out. You bought the game.
To be fair, a couple of the locations he's in are pretty significant, but I think a few were just unremarkable rooftops.
Yeah, like, the last one with the statue was fine, because, I literally just found him randomly while going through the map. And I think that's what they wanted. But, and, the statue is like the middle point of the map, so of course you're gonna see him there. But then he's just in a random corner on a freaking random-ass collapsed building, just sitting there waiting for you to actually come.
I love that dumb thing of video games where Azrael is just sitting there on the building like, come on, Batman. Come on. Waiting. Come on. And he's just seeing Batman drive by in the Batmobile doing all kinds of shit. He's like, you seriously don't have time to play my little games. Aww.
Yeah, and what did you choose for Azrael?
Oh, I put him
Well,
in
I
prison.
think you had a choice.
I put that fucker in prison.
I actually had him leave. He went and freaking got rid of the order. Last I saw him.
I understand wanting to have the good ending for Azrael, but to me, I just wanted to put Azrael in prison so I could have more dialogue with him.
Yeah, the only reason I freaking set him free was because I went with the old school thing of, I have this person, so obviously he will be a skin that I can use.
No.
Yeah, no fun allowed. This is Arkham Knight.
He is a playable character in challenge mode, though.
Yeah, but I want a free roam.
Yeah.
I get that he wouldn't be able to glide, but figure that shit out yourself. I'm not a game designer. I just want to have fun.
I wish they would have added the characters of him Batman to that mode. Though I don't know... Like, what would Harley do? She doesn't even have a grapple gun. Oh, Azrael can glide.
Oh, he can?
Yeah.
How?
Despite the fact he doesn't have a fucking cape, he just looks like an idiot.
Oh. That makes no sense. Alright. Sure.
To put this in perspectives, Pink, have you ever seen the Azrael cape where it's not a cape, it's just several straps of leather coming off his back?
Yeah.
That is what Azrael has on his back, but he uses all of Batman's animations, like directly recycles all of them, including his gliding animation, where he stretches his cape out to glide.
Right.
So he stretches out 2 leather straps and all the others just flap in the wind.
But wait, when can you use him in cases where he could glide?
Challenge mode.
Oh, there's you can use him in those as well. Alright.
Yes, I just mentioned that.
No, I meant the non-fighting ones. I thought he was Combat Challenge exclusive.
Combat and Stealth Challenge exclusive. Unfortunately, you can't have Azrael drive the Batmobile.
That sucks.
Well, the thing is, you can extend it to the other characters. How ridiculous would it be to see Harley Quinn driving the Batmobile?
I kind of just want to see Azrael's version of the Batmobile. Like it's just a large horse, I guess, because he's a Templar.
If only they were that creative.
Yeah, but so what else can I say about the whole thing? I don't freaking know. I wish it had more fun things and less Ubisoft circa 2016 things.
The only...
Actually, yeah.
Go.
I was just going to say, actually, Ubisoft since circa 2016 to now.
Yeah.
Things.
The only good thing in Arkham Knight is the challenge mode, and if you don't have the DLC, then the challenge mode is worthless to you.
Yeah.
Because you're limited to just Batman, Azrael, and who else? Is
Batman and Robin.
Robin?
Yeah.
But there
Red
was
Robin.
a Robin DLC.
What?
Yeah, there was a Robin DLC where you played as him going after Harvey.
Wait, did I have Robin then?
I don't think you did.
No.
He was a DLC character where you play as him versus Harvey. In like a
'cause-
trash compactor.
Oh, I know that. I think freaking Catwoman can also be used
Maybe.
in this game.
No, Catwoman has a DLC where it's her versus Riddler.
Oh. Alright. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman, Batgirl, Harley.
Catgirl.
Yeah, Catgirl. Harley and Red Hood all had DLCs, so they were all DLC characters. So Batman and Azrael are the only ones unlocked from the start. And Azrael is just a gimped Batman. I think Azrael only has access to 3 gadgets. He has the Bat Claw, the ice thing, the ice grenade thing, I don't remember what's name. And he might have the explosive paste, but that's it.
No, he has the electrocution thing.
Oh, the electrocution thing. Right, he would need that because several of the maps you need to charge up the thing to get through, right.
So yeah. That Batman Arkham Knight sure does exist. The car sucks ass. The car will never not suck ass.
It feels weird to say I'm glad that Arkham Origins team has taken over the series. Who knows what they're going to do with the Court of Owls, but hopefully they'll do anything better than Arkham Knight.
And the voice of Batman from the Rocksteady games said that he wasn't in, so it's more Roger Craig Smith, I guess.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. Gotta bet fast.
Gotta go vengeance.
Gotta be Knight.
Oh god, now I'm just thinking of that stupid Sonic Knight game, Sonic and the Black Knight. You remember?
Oh! Yes, I do.
I remember that.
That was a Wii exclusive, wasn't it?
I think it was.
And it was also just a freaking out mobile phone Infinite Runner with motion sickness freaking slicing things.
Motion sickness controls.
Yeah.
In order to jump, throw up on your remote.
In order to jump, do a freaking do a flip. In real life, we wait.
In order to attack with your sword, pass out.
They give Sonic the crash spinning attack, but you actually have to spin in real life to do it.
So someone just sets up the game and they put themselves in a desk chair and are just constantly spinning.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, Pink, did you see the stupid new Smash Brothers leak?
I think I did.
That stupid leak that said the remaining DLC characters are Crash, Bandana Waddle Dee, the Mad Scientist from Luigi's Mansion, and Rayman.
Yep.
Rayman is the only one out of those 4 that's believable. Because I love Bandana Waddle Dee as a stupid joke suggestion.
Yeah.
People would be flipping fucking tables if it was Bandana Waddle Dee.
At the same time, we did get Piranha Plant.
That's true, and Piranha Plant's actually quite good, so...
Every time you say Bandana Waddle Dee, I think you're gonna say Banana Waddle Dee.
When Bandana Waddle Dee eats bananas, he becomes double Bandana Waddle Dee. Oh, man. What does Bandana Waddle Dee even do? I know he's got a spear, but that's it. Can he eat people?
No, I don't even think he has a mouth.
He doesn't have a mouth, but Kirby's done weirder things before. The guy who fights Lovecraftian abominations every day in cute pixely style does not, need to observe your mortal rules. Alright, Addy, what else did you do this past week, man?
Right, I set out to learn how to play Mishimas. I can now semi-consistently do a freaking Winged Fist, I think.
It's something. I'm trying to learn the SRK motion for Tekken myself, yeah. Some characters it's a little more difficult to learn than others.
The weird thing is, I learned it on stick because I'm training myself to use every fighting game with stick, so that whenever I use the PS4 controller, it won't be weird. I learned it on stick, and I can now consistently do it on pad, but not on stick.
Yeah, it's way harder to do it on stick. I can say that. Tekken Tag 2 is not very conducive to stick. At some point, they changed stick controls for Tekken 7, so it's a lot more fluid, but Tekken Tag 2, the more complex motions, it just doesn't understand.
Yeah. So that, yeah?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I completely forgot what I was going to say, so please continue.
I was going to say that after I learned how to do the WGF, I booted up freaking Guilty Gear, and I was like, well, I wonder how this transitions to Johnny. So it turns out, freaking being able to do Shoryukens where it's not one continuous motion, but you go back to neutral, somehow equals Johnny becoming a ninja.
How?
I jump 95% more.
Oh, when you try to go neutral, you accidentally lean up?
Yeah.
Yep, that's one of the biggest problems. That's why in a lot of games it's not really viable. In Tekken, it's not bad because you just jump, you do a little hop, and then it's over. But in Guilty Gear, you jump at the wrong time. Oh, dead.
Yeah. The weird thing is, because of this whole thing, I became really freaking proficient. Just using and abusing every version of freaking Mistfighter and Zweihander.
Zweihander is his jumping one, right? His jumping little downward attack? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much how you should play Johnny. Add a few Bacchus size in for unblockables and you're golden.
Bacchus size is not really good. Because you can only actually trigger it when people are down. It's so long.
Well, the low Mistfighter knocks people down just fine.
Well, yeah, but people need to be flying down. Like they actually need to be knocked out down.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yeah. It also somehow transitions into like immediate air freaking combos.
We are speaking complete gibberish to Pink right now.
Yeah.
Bacchusai, Mistfighter, EWG, back to neutral.
So hey Pink.
Are these new Smite gods?
Yes. No. These are
God back to neutral.
These are Bacchus' new abilities that are working him.
Incredible.
Like everybody will be playing a MOBA. Bacchus will be playing a freaking Muso. No, Bacchus will be playing DMC.
So Freya and Nisha.
Naja's not really playing DMC. I wish he was playing DLC.
DLC. Yes.
I wish not. Yeah.
They need to make a video game focused MOBA where there's a character whose entire thing is turning other people into DLC. And you have to buy them back with gold. Oh no, he's turned all our minions into DLC. We need to spend gold to get them back.
Boy. But yeah. I also did more freaking Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
That seems like a game you go back to quite a lot.
Because I bought it again recently for the Dreadful Crimes that I'm trying to grind myself up to level 10 so I can be like, okay, Dreadful Crimes time.
Dreadful Crimes time.
Because the Dreadful Crimes were PSN exclusive, and they're the one part that I was really looking forward to because they're the Sherlock Holmes parts.
Do you actually get to meet Sherlock Holmes?
No, but you are a detective, and they freaking inject how the detective parts are set up from the Sherlock Holmes games. So.
Okay. Have you
got
to Dreadful Crimes yet?
No, I'm only at level 7.
So business as usual then?
Yeah, it surely does exist. I mean, I feel like I would be more welcoming to its bullshit when I not played through the game 6 times now.
Yeah.
This is the 7th, if not more.
Assassin's Creed games are so long, and like they repeat the same kind of level so many times. I don't understand how you do it. I mean, I've played through Dead Rising a fuck ton, right? But Dead Rising only takes 6 hours to play through. How long is Assassin's Creed Syndicate in hours? Because I know Brotherhood's gotta be up, like, around 50.
Let me see. One of these days, I will compile a list of all of the games and how many times I've played through them, and then I add all of the hours together, so you can look on in horror. But let me see. So I do know that I haven't 100%ed it, but I did get all of the ladders and flowers and shit at least once. Like, not all of them, but, most of the collectibles. So, main story plus extras is... well, I probably would do it at the median or rushed, so 32 hours to 20 hours. Somewhere between there.
Alright.
So, yeah. Let's see, how many hours have I spent in Syndicate?
Well, here's the thing. It occurs to me now that I was trying to make fun of you there. I've probably got now a little over 1,600 hours in Total War Warhammer 2. So, those who live in glass houses shall not throw stones.
So yeah, I have spent 210 hours in Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Need to bring those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
So yeah.
Did you do anything else?
I gave Dishonored 2 a chance.
Okay, how have you ever played the first Dishonored?
Yes, I disliked it.
Interesting. Why did you dislike it?
I found that well, for one thing, it's always a thing of, I like stealth gameplay, but I don't like most stealth games because most stealth games freaking kill me immediately.
I'm very curious to see how you react to Metal Gear Solid 2.
I'll have to play through the first one because I own that as well.
Oh, you do own it on PS1, right? PS Classic.
Yeah, I have the first 3 Metal Gears. That's gonna be an interesting freaking marathon.
Oh wait,
but I'm only gonna...
including the NES Metal Gears?
No.
Okay, so you mean Metal Gear Solids 1 through 3? Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that should be something that we do for the channel. That I marathon through all of the Metal Gears that I own.
I would definitely say you should go through Metal Gear Solid 1 sometime soonish. Because I do want Metal Gear Solid 2 to be the next game after DMC5. I think that one would be an interesting experiment. And I don't think it's a game any of us would suffer going through.
Yeah, and then I'd also have freaking Revengeance on 5.
Oh, Revengeance is just fun personified.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Like,
5, I think, would be impossible to do as a recording series. That game is not...
Probably.
That game is not recording friendly.
Yeah, that game is not any friendly, is what it is.
No.
Genuinely, I got halfway through the game. Then I had to quit for like a week for some reason. Then I got back in and I got killed immediately because I was so lost. Then I went, okay, I'll come back to this. And then after like half a year, I reinstalled the game. I deleted the first save because there's this thing I do where if I feel like I won't be able to continue where I left off, I just delete the save and then start over.
Yep, I do that too.
So I start the game again. 30-minute outro. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this tomorrow. Turn the game off. Come back tomorrow. I actually suffered through the 30-minute outro. I go, oh right. This is why I stopped playing this game for a week. And then I deleted the game again. Because, I appreciate how batshit crazy it is. But, shit.
I love the differing opinions on that. Because if you talk to Mike about Metal Gear Solid 5's intro, he insists that it's fantastic and one of the greatest gaming moments he's ever played. Conversely, if you mention it to Ted or Soon, they're like, that was hot garbage and just about ruined the game for me. I'm glad I soldiered through it because I enjoyed the rest of the game, but I fucking hated that intro.
Yeah, for me, I was fine with the intro the first time. I liked it the first time I played through it. by the like fifth time, I have to go through it because I have to keep resetting my save file. I'm just like, get through with it already. I just want to get to the part where I freaking do the overture combos on people.
I don't know.
But yeah, going back to freaking Dishonored. I probably would have got to the bad ending because I killed a lot of people and then fed them to the rats. But also,
I love how different it is that Metal Gear, you kill lots of people. It's like, technically I'm a bad person, but there's no real consequences for this. Dishonored, oh yeah, I killed everybody. Things have gone to shit. Things are
the
bad.
issues I kept, the big issue I kept having was that it was all of me, but still, I disliked the game because of it. Was that here's this base that you have to infiltrate. You have to go into the front door because everything else is water, and you can't traverse in water, or something like that. It was something like that. Like there wouldn't be any other opening that you could actually get to. Is my point. On this part where you have to go in, there are 15 guards. Some of them with freaking force fields, some of them with just guns. Get past them without them noticing you. But also, once you get past that part, there's like 50 more people on the other side, and there's no loading screen or anything to save you.
Right, so, but it's Dishonored. You can just save. It's a Bethesda game. It's got Bethesda.
I don't save scum. Is the thing.
Yeah, you do.
See, you have the opposite problem. I don't play Dishonored because I save scum too much.
Yeah. To me, like, I saved when I was safe, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get through here now. And then I go through, don't get noticed. And then a guard just looks behind himself and he's like, hey, isn't that Corvo? And then all of the guns.
To be fair, Dishonored deliberately tries to make combat fairly effective for people who aren't.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to play through the game with an effective combat system if I can't actually see the ending of the game. Like, I don't see a reason to actually play through the game if all you're going to do is just shit on me.
I don't entirely remember. There's something the dev talked about, like, one of the problems that the game had was simply that a lot of people tried to go for as non-lethal a run as possible because they operate on the assumption that if I kill anyone, I lose the perfect ending. The game actually has a lot of leg room to get the good ending. Realistically, to my understanding, the only way to get the bad ending is if you are genuinely fucking killing everyone.
I mean, I wasn't killing everyone, but there was a severe rat infestation by the time I got to that point, so I've got to assume I was on the track to the freaking bad ending.
Well, the thing about Dishonored is that it starts off with a severe rat infestation.
But it was worse.
How many bodies were you feeding to the rats?
I only fed the rats the bodies in one room. So, not many. I think like 6 bodies at most.
Okay, 6 bodies. I was curious, what's your definition of killing a lot of people? Is it 10 people or is it 100 people?
Killing a lot of people, 25 to 50.
That's an amount of people I would say is a lot of people. I think you've crossed the line there from a reasonable amount of people killed to a lot of people killed. I mean, I'm always one to commend a game for one thing, I want games to have non-lethal options, because I always enjoy that. That's always the thing I love about Metal Gear. But I also love when games have actual consequences for your actions. And I think the biggest flaw that BioShock ever had as a game was the fact that taking the good path was actually the optimal path. Because you get rewarded better for being a good guy. And which means that, effectively, you don't really need to deal with the consequences of your actions. You don't need to sacrifice to be good. And I do want to commend Dishonored for that, for rewarding you for being a good person and sparing people's lives. So, I mean, in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and say that you make your bed and you lay in it.
and that's why I quit the game. Because what point is there for me to waste time on this game when I wouldn't even get a freaking ending? Well, I will get an ending, but it won't be freaking anything that they wanted me to get. So
Well, I mean, that's your own fault. If you had just chosen not to kill those people, you wouldn't get that ending.
Yeah, a lot of times I actually didn't have a lot of choice, because...
Play the game better!
There's one part where I remember that I tried to get through the level non-lethally, like only killing the freaking targets, for a month. A whole month. I got caught when I was freaking leaving the place.
You know you can teleport, right?
Yes, but teleporting is not doing a whole lot of shit when they have a freaking force field or electrified force field up, I don't think. I don't remember if I could teleport through that.
Dishonored is very much an exploration-based game. There's always a way through. I know that.
That's your problem. I don't like exploration.
Oh man, I get what? So, I don't like free roam levels. I like structured, get to the objective levels. But at the same time, I really like for there to be options to get to that end point. I want there to be options in how I play the game. Do you just want, like, direct get to the end? Fuck everything else?
No. Well, usually that's how I look at it, but no. Like, I like the options, I just usually don't take them because, to me, a lot of times it just seems like a waste of time.
Well, then it's your own fucking fault you got the bad ending because you didn't want to put in the time to play a good person. It's consequences for the actions. It's easier to be a bad person. It's easier to just murder your way to victory. That's how it do. That's how it be. That's pretty much how every game that has a non-lethality versus lethality system handles it. Is that being able to get through the entire game without killing a single person is in itself a bragging rights reward. It's like beating Resident Evil with only the knife. It's like, well, yeah, you say you're good at the game, but I beat the game without killing anyone. Suck on that, nerd.
So yeah, Dishonored 2. Turn on the game. I turn on the game. I go to the tutorial to see if they added freaking hell, I can't speak. Added anything that I don't remember or something like that. RB.
What is on RB?
So, the non-lethal kill. So I turned the game off, and then it's just sitting there. I haven't decided if I want to delete it yet or not.
The game has remappable keys, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I feel like with Dishonored, because of the teleportation and shit, I feel like they will always have something important on it.
No, there's gotta be a couple of useless keys. I think there's one that's just zooming. Because it's a classic styled FPS. There's always a zoom button on classically styled FPSs.
I'll look into it, but yeah. So, good first impression of the game. I mean, it's not the game's fault, but still.
It's not the game's fault! This is repeated things of like, oh, well, I screwed up, so fuck this game. Or, well, that isn't even anyone's fault. That's the fucking controller's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Eddie.
But yeah, turning on Dishonored 2, I remember that I really freaking dislike the character designs.
What, you dislike Victorian-era fashion? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not their biggest fan, but I like steampunk, so, in theory I should like it, but freaking characters look blocky to me.
I love that character design. It looks kind of TF2-esque, but skinnier. They're all the sniper from TF2, honestly. Everyone's built like the sniper.
Yeah, I don't like it. To me, it looks dumb.
It's kind of Pixar-esque. I'm always a fan of that style. Pank, what's your view? Let's get you to talk for the first time in 20 minutes.
I haven't played Dishonored. I don't know what Dishonored looks like, so I couldn't be of any use here.
Similar to Civ 6 or Pixar films.
Ah. I don't have any real problems with that art style.
Grittier, though. Lots grittier.
Let me Google search some images. Dishonored 2?
Yeah, Dishonored 2. Just look up Corvo.
Corvo.
I like Corvo and his daughter's designs. I like that Corvo drops the mask in his later years. Because he doesn't need it anymore.
I disagree. I like the mask.
I like the mask too. That looks pretty nifty. It looks like a zombie Doctor Doom.
I mean, I like the mask, but I like that he dropped it for the sequel because he didn't need it anymore. He's not a fugitive, like, in that way anymore. And he's not really a young rebel anymore either. He's kind of an old fuck now.
Right.
Besides, he's like father of the queen, so it's not like his face is a secret.
Yeah. But they also hate the queen, so...
They hate the queen?
Yeah.
Is it because she was fathered by a commoner?
I don't know, maybe. I didn't get that far. They just told me in the tutorial level, they hate the queen.
Well, isn't the queen the main character, like sharing
Not
it
the
with
queen,
Corvo?
freaking... Yeah?
It's Emily, right? Emily's her name?
I don't freaking know.
I'm pretty sure it is. Because the big twist of Dishonored 1 was, oh no, the queen has been killed and the princess has been kidnapped. And one of the big twists of Dishonored 1 was, oh yeah, Corvo totally slept with the queen and the princess is your daughter.
Yeah.
Go get her.
Yeah, I got that far. I remember dumping people's unconscious bodies into the bath. Of the throttle.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I wanted to move on. But if you want to continue this, then go ahead.
Let's just go ahead. Pink, you're looking at the designs. What do you think?
I'm fine with them. The only real complaint I've got, and that's an art style type thing, is the fact that his hands are so friggin' huge.
Hands in Dishonored are big. I noticed that. They're they're prominent. And it's especially goofy because the way to non-lethally take out people is to put them in a stranglehold in first person. So basically Corvo is punching the camera in the face every time you strangle somebody, and you just see how huge his hands are. Yeah, at the same time, it's kind of a gameplay element, though, because you do want to see whether or not somebody's carrying something. That is pretty vital information in gameplay.
You just gotta be careful when he facepalms, because he might suffocate himself.
He can effectively hide by facepalming himself.
I mean, hey, Pink, you need to have freaking largest hands for the largest hand tattoos, so you can teleport with them.
That's true. Corvo's superpowers are channeled.
Tactical decision.
Yep. The bigger the hands, the more the teleport. Addy, what else did you do this week?
I actually think that's all.
All right. I think pizza is going to be brought in sooner rather than later, so I'm going to try and rush through what I did. I played Civ 6. Yeah, I played a bit with Pachacuti and recorded it. Pachacuti's a fun one, because if you're set up next to mountains, you just get loads of food in production. And you will be setting up... Yeah, you will have the biggest cities in the early game if you can set up near mountains. Which, by itself, is already good because it means you're turning out a lot more production. It also means you're turning out a lot more science earlier than everybody else.
Yes.
So the Incans are a early game powerhouse for certain. I don't know how well they're able to hold up into the late game, though. Particularly given that the later they get in the game, the more they're going to have to expand past the mountains, which is not in their comfort zone.
Right. You just gotta be aware of the Spaniards.
Yes. Everyone needs to be wary of the Spaniards. Philip's kind of a dick. Soon invited me to play Vanilla Civilization 6 with him last night. Oh, that was rough. The expansions made that game a lot better.
Yes, absolutely.
For one thing, city rebelling was entirely based on amenities. That's fucking dumb. Because in Civ 5, it was already dumb enough when the entire country would be in revolt because you don't have enough crabs. But Civ 6, I was playing as Arabia with Soon. And it's like, Cairo is in open revolt. You don't have enough chocolate. Well.
Well, that's understandable. That's your own fault.
It spawns Mamluk knights because I'm Arabia. So I guess the Mamluk orders of knights were like, there's not enough chocolate. Burn the cities. Anarchy! 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 And, oh boy. You know what's ridiculous about Vanilla Civ 6? Eureka's and Inspirations give 50% of the science and cultural costs for everybody.
Oh, lordy.
Yeah. Like, I was in a position where I couldn't get many, but if I was trying to focus those down, I could just get infantry in the medieval period or some stupid shit like that. Like, fucking, if I really focused it down, you know, poor Soon would just be sitting over there in the Stone Age, and there's a nuclear missile incoming. Welcome to the jungle, motherfucker. Oh, it was rough. And you know what's one of my favorite things that Gathering Storm added that is a saving grace? The changes to the resource system.
Right.
Because previous, like even in Civ 4 and Civ 5, and Vanilla Civ 6 and Rise and Fall, resources were just handled in a flat manner of, if you have an iron mine, congrats, you get 2 iron. You can temporarily sell that to somebody else for 30 turns, or you can use each iron to build 1 swordsman, and they just hold on to that piece of iron until they die. Which meant that if you had a single iron mine, which odds are you only had 1 because iron is shockingly rare,
yep,
you got 2 swordsmen. And if your army had any unique units, they didn't cost that resource. Which of course meant that come the late ancient era, or classical era, then of course Alexander and Rome just wreck phase. Because, woo, infinite swordsmen. And the change to, for one thing, make it so uniques only cost half the resource amount, but making it so that the mines and the horse pastures now generate 2 per turn, and you have a stockpile of 50 that gets upgraded, it makes a lot more sense, obviously, which is a big thing, because it was always just silly to play Civ 5 and be like, well, we can make 2 swords. There we go. So that is definitely one of the biggest additions. And I do find it amusing that in a way it was almost kind of a nerf to certain civs like Alex. Because when I played Rise and Fall against Alex fucking sucked. I talked about it on the previous podcast, but Alex will kick your ass in Rise and Fall.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot be stopped. It makes guys like the Zulu, who don't have to pay any resources for the unique unit, a lot stronger. Which is weird to say, because the MPs are already ridiculously cheap in terms of production.
Yep.
Civ 6 is good.
Absolutely.
I also got to play Lego Worlds. And that's an interesting mix of games. Because it is very much a classic Telltale Lego game in a lot of aspects. But at the same time, it is partially Astroneer. And at the same time, it is one of the most intricate building games ever. Because you do...
That is...
The building... So, Pink. The building was so intricate, it scared me off.
Did you figure out that you can click and drag?
Yes.
Okay, that was important information that I missed early on. So here's the important information I have for you, Addy. You are aware that there is a pre-built samurai castle, right?
Yes.
You wanted to make your own?
Yes.
Okay, well that would take a while, yes.
Yeah, I went, I appreciate this, but I want to make my own custom one. So,
but
I will have it. But
you could just make extensive use of the copy tool.
I found the copy tool to not well. The copy tool was useful, but I found that I wasn't able to use it. Freaking what's the word? Effectively because just placing the things was so disorienting. The camera.
Yeah, there's definitely some artifacts of the telltaleness there.
And that's the big issue I had with the viewing system is the camera. Nothing else. Like everything else is fine. Even if it would take 15 hours to make like freaking one level of a house. The camera.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough. But I did appreciate. Did you? I don't know if you stepped into adventure mode.
I have.
Okay. So, I don't think we'd ever record in that game, would we?
I don't know.
Because I
like I still have it. Yeah.
I don't know what we would do because I don't think we'd mess around in adventure mode.
Yeah, that was a thing that I didn't know either. Cause like, yeah, we could build, but the camera. Yeah, we could go into adventure mode, but adventure mode isn't that interesting. And then those are options.
But there's so much goofy stuff in that game that I really like. That's part of my whole problem there.
Yeah, like once again, every time Lego comes up, I have to state this. I wasn't actually genuinely a Lego kid. I was a Bionicle kid, so I can truly appreciate this shit. The freaking Eidos Bionicle game they released for the 360, I was more or less fine with that. I actually have played it.
Was it the first-person shooter?
Yeah, TPS actually. It was a third-person shooter with building mechanics. Take that Fortnite.
Okay.
But yeah, that game was alright for its time. I think I haven't played it in years, and I've only played like the first half of the first level in that.
I feel like I remember it being a third-person shooter or a first-person shooter. I forget which one it was, and I feel like I remember it being garbage.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot, and I was like 8 when I was able to play it, so you know.
But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I also played the other Bionicle game, the one that tied into the movie, the first movie.
The PS2 game?
It also was on PC. I had like a mini disc of it.
The like really ancient one where you had to get like the little guys, right?
Maybe. I think you were the Toa.
Yeah, where you played as the original ones, the original Bionicles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that on PS2. That game also fucking sucked.
That game was shit. I got to the boss with the lava boss, and I did beat it, but I never did pick up the game after that again.
Oh, I got much harder than that. That game got hard. At least when I was a kid, I thought it got hard. Isn't there there's a weird impulse with games that you thought were hard when you were a kid, and you know as an adult they were shit games, but you want to go back and play them so that you can fucking prove it wasn't that hard?
Right.
Dude, both of my sisters and I played the NES Jungle Book game a lot when we were kids because that's the one we had. And we really liked the Jungle Book. We never got past the third stage. I did it a couple of years ago. And I mean, my older sister was always the one who did the freaking elephant levels because she was the only one who was able to do them. So I went, okay, you take this now.
This is your problem.
Yeah. Because, actually, never mind. I'm lying. Because I don't think it was a second elephant level. It might have been, but I remember one level that was the freaking river, and it sucked so much ass. Holy shit. Like, the elephant level is hard because it's an auto-scroller, but it's not actually the screen that's auto-scrolling, it's the ground. And you just after a while run out of ground, so you can actually complete the level. So, you know, that's why that level is hard. The river level, as far as I got in it, had crocodiles that basically randomly ate you or something.
This sounds like an
So-
NES game.
Yeah, it like the Genesis port was supposed to be really good, and the NES port was supposed to be really bad. But I only played the NES port, so I can't comment.
That sounds like the general pattern for Disney games at that time. There seem to be a lot of them where it's like, good on the Genesis, shit on the NES.
But this game was
Genesis
supposed to be
does what
everything.
Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
man,
thing
did
is,
you
like,
see the
this-
dumbass edit of that the other day? Someone edited that ad to just say, Genesis Genesis what Nintendenesis.
No, but I like it. It's like a stupid version of Bobby. Yeah.
Probably where it
Anyway,
originated. It probably was this Bubby.
yeah. But what I wanted to say is that freaking Jungle Book game got released for like 15 systems. It was on the NES, the SNES, the Genesis, the Mega Drive. I think those might be the same console. I don't know. I'm not a Sega guy. It was also released for the freaking Game Boy, and maybe the Game Boy Color. I don't know why.
Yep. The classic era
Yeah.
the classic era of shit licensed games.
Yeah.
When you think about it, the mobile games are the best thing that ever happened to licensed games, because shit licensed games just switched over to mobile, but the quality ones mostly stayed on the consoles and PC. So now we can get
guess.
good Batman games and good Spider-Man games, and the shit ones are on phones.
A frozen
Right.
snowball fight.
Yeah. 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 Were we talking about Lego Worlds?
Yes.
I think we were.
Yeah. That game's got a lot of goofy stuff to collect. I thought it was a lot of fun. With that said, yeah, the game's not... Well, it's weird. I want to say the game's not quality because the gameplay structure isn't good. That game actually runs at a good frame rate. Like,
Incredible.
considering the others of its genre on Xbox, we've played Astroneer, we've played, Ark, we've played Conan Exiles. What was the one thing consistent between all three of those games?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd count. Freaking I can speak. I'd count. Bloody hell!
What happened?
The microphone just decided to give me a blowjob. So anyway,
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the sound of the mic smashing into Addie's balls, apparently. So now you know what that sounds like.
so yeah, I'm gonna have to freaking look at the screws on this thing so it won't fall over again. But yeah, where was I? Before I was assaulted.
You were going to include some other game on the list of Conan Exiles.
Right. So I'd say that Lego Worlds and freaking Astroneer are more akin to Minecraft and Terraria than Conan Exiles and Ark. Because to me, Conan Exiles and Ark are basically virtual human experiments.
Kind
Meanwhile-
of, yeah.
Meanwhile, Lego Worlds, Astroneer, to a small extent, and Minecraft and Terraria are more focused on building and shit like that. Astroneer not so much, but I guess we'll count it.
I don't know what to really say about Astroneer because we didn't get too terribly far with it.
We
Right.
got pretty far. Like we only got freaking like pre getting off the first planet far. So
Ah,
that's pretty far. That's like the middle of the
Good
game.
job of disagreeing that first planet we were on. We just
Yeah.
couldn't leave it.
does Astroneer have an eventual endpoint?
I don't think so. No.
Once you run out of planets to colonize, yeah.
No, once you run out of care for the game. Because all of the planets are freaking procedurally generated, so...
Because my point I was going to bring up was that Terraria very much has an endpoint. Lego World seems like it had an endpoint in the adventure mode. Minecraft nominally has an end point, but most people don't really bother with ending at the Ender Dragon. Either they
Yeah.
stop before that or they stop long after. Whereas Conan Exiles and Ark both to me seem like games that don't end. The point of the game is pretty much just to duke it out with other players and online servers, really.
Right.
So, I mean, that's something to LEGO World's credit and to Terraria's credit, that it actually ends at some point.
Yeah.
That it does not continue until you get sick of it. But
You can get other players. For some reason, it reminded me of Shivani Medieval Warfare, which reminds me that I didn't want to play Shivani Medieval Warfare.
was Chivalry the first-person melee combat game?
Yes, it had Mortal with its follow-up.
Yes, though I'd much rather play Chivalry because Chivalry has less political implications attached to it. Has Chivalry seen much updates since, like, 2012? I feel like that's the last time I heard of it.
No, Chivalry died. That's why Mortal came out.
Oh. Was it made by the same devs?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't remember what Chivalry had that you could do, really, other than be a knight with a broadsword. How many weapon choices were there? I forget.
There were long swords, there were short swords, you could be an archer, you could, I think there might have been daggers, but I'm not sure. There were maces, there were hammers. Things like that.
Right. Huh. Anyways, yeah, LEGO Worlds, it's a collectathon. Boy, is it, in adventure mode. That's pretty much most of what it is. Which I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
Typical in fashion for LEGO games.
I didn't have a lot of fun with adventure mode just because to me it seemed like a whole lot of go here, tutorial mission. Alright, go new planet.
I mean, for me, I'm a stupid ape who enjoys Skinner boxes and getting the next hit. And I'll admit that, like, LEGO Worlds is just that. And it's a lot of nostalgia of, oh, I remember I had this LEGO set when I was a kid. And they go deep with some of that stuff, because they have some stuff in there that's like, wow, I'm surprised LEGO even remembers they made this. You guys remember those fucking... Well, Pink probably doesn't, because he was too old at the time. But, Addy, do you remember the time they had the mining one with the big drill thing and the little rock monsters?
Yes.
That
yes,
one's
I do.
in there. Everything's in there, like the drill and the monsters and everything.
Do they have the night one?
Yes.
Ah, that's surprising.
Yeah, they even have like the big troll.
Wait, do they have the Japanese mech? Because I had one of those.
The Japanese mech.
They had like this toy line. I don't remember what they were, but it was this. You could buy a gigantic mech suit, and just the biggest enemy protagonist freaking minifigures came with it.
I have vague memories of this, but I haven't. If they are in there, I haven't seen them yet.
I'll look up their name while you continue.
But yeah, it's weird in that regard, and I enjoy the capacity of weirdo things you can dress your character up as, or the variety of vehicles and mounts that are in the game. There's one that I absolutely love, but it's still, a LEGO game. On one hand, I'm a little sad the game didn't come out when I was a kid. On the other hand, I'm a little glad. Because I look at this game and I'm like, if I was a little kid, this is the only game I would play. Ever.
I don't get it. How old is Ninjago?
Oh, that was like at the end of when I was a kid.
Yeah, same here. But so that's why I'm asking, because I wrote in Lego Mech Set mid 2000s and it gives me Ninjago shit, and no, it wasn't this.
Well, I remember it had like this. There was that anime hairpiece. There's that hairpiece for minifigs that they later wound up using for Nightwing when they made Batman sets.
I remember this guy with spiky turquoisey hair.
Yes, we were definitely thinking of the same piece. I have no fucking clue. Let's move on. If you can think of it while I'm talking about the two things I've got left to talk about, I'll try and speed through them while at the same time giving you enough time to look that up. So I've watched two movies. One is one that I don't think you guys are going to be able to talk about, so I'll go ahead and rush right through it. I watched Mystic River, which is a film directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Kevin Bacon, Larry Fishburne, Sean Penn, and... how am I forgetting his name? Oh... Pink, I don't know if you'll know the name, but can you help me here? The main guy from Shawshank that isn't Morgan Freeman.
But I don't have a clue.
Oh, fuck. I'm looking it up real quick. I always forget this guy's name, the poor bastard. It is... Nope, that's not it. Hang on. It is Tim Robbins. I always forget that poor bastard's name. Star of Shawshank Redemption, star of Jacob's Ladder, star of Mystic River. And Mystic River is a 2003...
I think I found it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, hell yeah, I did. Exo Force.
Oh, I remember that name! Right. Shit, yes, I definitely remember that.
Yeah, I had a black Exo Force mech.
I didn't have any, but I think I probably wanted one when I was a kid.
I'll see if I can find the exact model and I'll post it. You can continue, sorry.
Yeah. So, Mr. River, it's a 2003 era, I guess, kind of thriller, noir thing. So, Sean Penn is this old-style Boston gangsta. Kevin Bacon is this Boston detective. Larry Fishburne is his partner. And Tim Robbins is their old childhood friend. Between them, they have a problem. When they were little kids, Tim Robbins' character was kidnapped by pedophiles. Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn's character did nothing about it. Now,
Oops.
I'm sorry?
I said oops.
Yeah, oops. They actually
I found it.
They watched him get taken away. It's actually very sad. Then it skips forward to the present day now that they're adults. And Sean Penn's daughter, played by Emmy Rossum from what's that series with William H. Macy? Where he's a really bad father? Shameless? I think it's Shameless.
I think that sounds familiar.
Yes. She gets murdered. And it becomes a kind of noir thriller on how Sean Penn's daughter was murdered. The film is mostly known... The plot is all around pretty good. It hits some interesting points. I don't know that I want to spoil too much of it. But the film is mostly known for its performances, namely from Tim Robbins and Sean Penn. And I believe Mystic River was the film that won Sean Penn an Oscar. And I don't like Sean Penn. I should go ahead and note that. Like, I always thought the guy was a douchebag. But, yeah, he earned it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen even, like, the slightest mention of Mystic River?
I have not. I think this is the first time I've heard of it.
Okay, I'm going to avoid spoiling it because it's a fantastic movie and I do want you guys to watch it if you ever get the opportunity. But, yes, they definitely absolutely put in great performances. Kevin Bacon and Larry Fishburne do good jobs. They don't do fantastic jobs, but I would never expect fantastic jobs out of Kevin Bacon and Larry Fishburne.
Of course not.
Don't get me wrong, I like them. They're not masterclass actors. They are just good, you know?
Yep.
They fill the role that they need to fill. Their characters are not the most complex ones. They're two detectives who are trying to solve a murder. Whereas Sean Penn is playing a Boston mobster whose daughter has been murdered, which is a fairly complex role that would require some emotional range. And Tim Robbins is playing a grown man who is dealing with the post-traumatic stress disorder from having been molested as a child, which is also a very complex role that requires a lot of emotional range. So the casting was solid. They knew who to put with who. And I will just go ahead and mention one thing. Larry Fishburne described the movie as being about three men and their wives. He plays Kevin Bacon's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate a lot of it. The performances, of course, are incredible, and I really do like who the killer was. I think that the killer is definitely, the reveal of who the killer is one that would upset some people. But I thought it was a fantastic turn on the twist. Yeah. Overall, I'd say it was a very good movie that I can't talk much about because I don't want to spoil it a great degree. It's definitely one of those movies that if Mike were here, he and I would spend an hour talking about it. It's very similar to No Country for Old Men, but more noir, less thriller. And the other movie I watched this past week...
Give it a second. So I found the exact set that I had. Put up a timestamp.
You actually pretty much wound up exactly on the dot for 240. Oh,
There
yes,
you go. That's the thing.
I remember those.
Yeah, this is the thing that I had. I still have pieces of it somewhere.
I feel like I may have actually had that one too. I'm not...
Hey,
I would have, because that...
Dude was summoned here by the power of Halo Force.
I guess. Hey, soon... You arrived at, like, the fucking ending. I was about to mention the last thing I did this week. Yes, I definitely had that Lego set, because I distinctly remember having that little robot minifig. But I've not run into them in the game yet, no. I don't know if I put much progress in the game.
They're freaking like they're more than 10 years old at this point. These things, freaking 2007 is what it says.
Oh yeah, so is the drill and the rock monster thing.
Yeah, but they sucked.
Fuck you! I had that set. I thought it was great. When you moved the wheels, it moved the drill. It was innovative. Shut up. Don't you insult my childhood Lego sets. I refuse. Anyways, I suppose we should go ahead soon. What'd you do this past week?
I've been playing the Planet Zoo beta mostly.
Right, and you showed me a couple screenshots from that, and it looks very pretty, but is it actually a quality game?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's got, like, an amazing, like, building mechanics, and unlike Planet Coaster, I never bothered with the building because I just didn't care, but for some reason in Planet Zoo, I just care a lot more, especially because, like, the animals interact with it. Like, you can build piece-by-piece climbing sets, and your, like, chimps, mandrills, lemurs, they'll actually climb on that stuff.
That sounds very cool, because...
Yeah. So, like, when I created that, like, I showed you that picture of the lemur exhibit that I made with, like, a path that goes under, like, this glass... Wait, actually, let me find a picture of it. And
when you do, go ahead and warn me.
I got it.
Alright, hang on just a second. I will get you a timestamp. As soon as I say go, then you need to post it.
And then it says go, ready to throw.
Go. There we go.
Did that screenshot even work?
Nope.
I see the Steam logo.
Okay, try clicking
Click on it, click on it. Oh,
Yeah,
well, you're gonna
click
get a
on the
bunch of
little link.
screenshots of Warhammer.
Oh yeah, screenshot.
I got a screenshot. I got a screenshot of freaking Cloud leading the death cult.
Okay, yeah, I don't think you guys can see it. But anyway, yeah.
He died.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and just delete that that timestamp. I'm happier with us not getting that screenshot. Just clicking on that link and seeing a bunch of fucking orcs.
You're seeing orcs. I'm seeing the Sims 4 picture of Cloud leading everyone on the forum to die.
What? Pink, what did you see?
I've got the Sims image. If I scroll down, there's what is this? Crusader Kings 2.
You guys aren't friends with Soon on Steam. Okay, so I'm seeing friends only screenshots and you
I
guys
got this.
aren't.
I got this. I got this.
Right. So that's the hottest picture of Planet Zoo.
Put it into the for a picture.
The timestamp's already gone. You guys will just have to imagine us marching to our deaths. Off cliffs like a bunch of fucking lemmings. What you can't see is Walt Disney behind the camera pushing us off the cliff.
Yeah, there's Pink with like the weird Michael Jackson Prince suit. The pink hair. I think that's Steve next to him.
Oh man, that's some old shit right there. Right, so
yeah.
What I heard about Planet Coaster, I probably heard it from you, was that Planet Coaster's central problem is that it all exists around the coasters, but the coasters are really the only thing. Building the park itself sucked.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just never really got into Planet Coaster. Not like Roller Coaster Tycoon. But Planet Zoo actually like manages to be a adequate like spiritual successor to the original Zoo Tycoon games, which, to be honest, we just haven't had that in the gaming industry since Zoo Tycoon 1 and 2. Because like the only other options for like zoo simulation games are Wildlife Park, which is actual garbage, and
oh no, we'll never know! It's a mystery to everyone!
I think he was going to say Zoo Tycoon.
Well, what was the name? What was the name of the one we fucking played? It wasn't Zoo Tycoon.
Zoo Tycoon.
Oh,
it was.
Zoo Tycoon. Yeah, Zoo Tycoon, the remake, the Xbox one.
That one was alright.
Did you guys get what I said about Wildlife Park?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think my internet is being really spotty right now.
Then speak quickly.
But yeah, like the terraforming is amazing in Planet Zoo. I've been able to like, you can make floating islands, so if you want to make like a fantasy themed park, you can. And yeah, it's just really, really fun to play around with and make exhibits for your animals.
How's the animal variety?
In the beta right now, it's fairly limited. There's only like 30 animals.
Ooh.
But in the actual full release, there'll be 60 plus.
Will they keep adding more with DLC and updates?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I didn't know how much of a service the game gets past release.
I mean, Frontier has a really, like, big DLC business. So, like Jurassic World Evolution has a bunch of DLC still, and it's still getting more DLC, like, 2 years after release?
Which is crazy, because that game didn't do very well, did it?
Yeah, it didn't do very well, but Planet Coaster still gets DLC, like, where the fuck did Planet Coaster come out?
Well, I think the bigger question, I think this seems to be now a universal thing amongst the simulator genre, is the increasing amounts of DLC to try and hit every aspect of real life possible.
Yeah.
Because when did... Okay, I don't know what happened on Soon's side there. I think his roommate probably barged into the room. Okay, when did Crusader Kings 2 come out?
Crusader Kings 2?
Yeah, when did that come out?
That came out, 2011? It's a really old game.
Okay, that's not as old as I thought. I would have thought it was around 2009 or 2010, but
2012. 2012.
That's a lot more recent than I thought. Wow, okay. But that game's definitely still getting DLC support.
Yeah. But, the zoo simulation games actually just in general get a lot of DLC. Zoo Tycoon kind of built itself around its 3 expansion packs. Zoo Tycoon 2 had, 4 expansion packs.
Which, yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of animals in the world.
Yeah. And, honestly, the Planet Zoo does have a lot of opportunities for expansion packs. Like, they can do an Australia expansion pack, because they haven't really announced any Australian animals. which is also something that Zoo Tycoon did, and Wildlife Park. They both had Australian expansion packs.
Well, I mean, with only 30 animals, I have to imagine quite a lot are missing.
Only 60?
Well, I mean, not from the planned amount of animals. I mean, like, from actual animals that exist in the real world.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. And it's weird that they've decided to, like, go the route of having, like, 4 different species of gazelles. And 2 different species of elephants so far.
Elephants I can get, but gazelles are a weird choice.
The Indian elephant and, like, the African elephant look really different in game. The gazelles, even in the beta, there's, like, 5 of them.
Are there any birds that can actually fly?
Birds that can fly? No.
That's a pretty big gap.
I mean, that's definitely going to be an expansion pack. And they'll probably do, like, an aquatic expansion pack too.
Snakes?
I'm not sure. Huh?
Snakes?
Snakes are an exhibit animal. So they have, like, the habitat animals, which are the ones that actually, like, move around in big habitats that you can, like, do stuff with. But then there's also the exhibit animals. The exhibit animals are restricted to, like, these little glass boxes, you know, like you would see in a zoo.
Exhibit animals, okay.
Exhibit animals. And they don't actually move around the exhibit. They just go through, like, certain animations. And if you, like, look away and come back, then they'll have moved to a different spot and go through a different animation cycle. So...
yeah, they're gifts.
I honestly don't even bother with exhibit animals.
I'm shocked Addy did not make a joke about exhibit animals that entire time.
Well, what's the word I'm looking for? I have my attention taken away by freaking going through these freaking medical listings and looking at all the ones that I used to have.
There we go.
Addy climbed aboard the nostalgia train.
But yeah, yesterday was World Animal Day, and they were hyping up how many announcements they were going to make for the full release of Planet Zoo.
Wait, World Animal Day is the same day as World Taco Day?
I guess. Yeah. Anyway,
I know which one I celebrate. I don't know about you guys.
You need to make this tacos from something, W.
Yeah, they were
Elephant taco does not sound appetizing, honestly.
They were hyping up how many announcements they were going to make. And then, like, World Animal Day happened, and they decided they would make their announcements based on how many of this one tweet got retweeted. Every 200 retweets, they would make a new announcement or whatever. And it only got 1,200 retweets, so that's like 6 announcements. The problem is that half of those announcements were giveaways rather than actual announcements. And so they only made 3 actual announcements.
Yep.
One of which was just a boat ride, and then the other 2 were, one was the Okapi, which got leaked like months ago, and so they've been announcing animals based on like their special animal day, like Gorilla Day. Anyway, they announced the Okapi. Okapi Day is October 18th. So they could have just announced it then. Anyway, and then the second animal they announced was an exhibit animal, which nobody fucking cares about. So they announced one actual animal on World Animal Day.
There are a lot of video game marketing teams nowadays that don't know what they're doing.
I think they expected like more interaction with the tweet than they got, because, you know, it's a niche title. Anyway.
Well, there's always a problem with marketing strategies where they punish the audience for not marketing the game themselves.
Yeah. But other than that, what else have I been up to? Not much, really. Mostly been writing papers. I wrote 2 papers this week.
We played Civ 6 last night.
yeah, we played Civ 6 last night.
Vanilla Civ 6 is not good.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah.
So wait, what exactly are the differences that you've noticed?
Well, for one thing, fairly big balance changes. For one thing, they nerfed the hell out of Eurekas and Inspirations, so they don't carry you through the science and culture trees anymore. Lots more Civ choices, and a lot of them bring more interesting abilities to the table. Rise and Fall adds the era system, which makes it so that you can have golden eras, dark ages, and heroic ages.
Gotcha.
Rise and Fall also added the loyalty system, which is key, because what it means is that your cities will no longer rebel because they don't have enough chocolate. Like they did for me. And it also adds the governor system, where you can pick governors and assign them to various cities. They also changed policy cards quite a bit. Because they got rid of the legacy policies and added the government plaza system in its place.
You know, a lot of these sound like things that should have just been patched in as opposed to being released as an expansion pack.
Well, some of them
But they gotta make that money, boy.
Yeah, it is 2K. 2K is
Precisely
the worst monetizing company in the industry, but they get away with it because they mostly make sports titles.
right.
I would also mention how Gathering Storm changes the resource system, but that's just because I'm a big fan of how they did. You know how they always had that silly system of, oh, you have an iron mine, you have 2 iron, you can make 2 swordsmen.
Oh yeah, that's really dumb.
Yeah, that's not how it works anymore.
Okay.
A iron mine generates 2 iron per turn. You can have up to 50 iron. Every swordsman you build costs 20 iron.
Okay, that's a lot better. Why isn't that patched in? Like the Civilization series is so behind when it comes to the gaming industry, I feel.
And that it still uses expansions, I suppose, but the thing part of the thing here, though, is that people would sometimes want to go back before certain expansions were implemented. Because if somebody doesn't like Rise and Fall's era system, they don't want to be stuck dealing with it every time they play Civ 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they'll switch back to the vanilla rule set.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like most other companies nowadays are just they're adding those things in via patching rather than expansion packs. And maybe the era system would be more of an expansion pack, but things like the iron currency, that should be patched in. That shouldn't be part of an expansion pack.
That's a pretty big balance change, though. Because hang on, I didn't mention the accents that came with it. Because it also changes barracks and stables to increase your stockpile, and it makes it where unique units cost half the amount of resource. But in Vanilla Civ 6, unique units don't cost the resource at all. So Legionaries didn't take up iron, but in Gathering Storm they do.
Okay. I still think that should have been a patch rather than expansion.
I mean, when it's that big of a balance change, then it's a little different from just, oh, well, this person gets plus 10 to science now or whatever. Like, that is a core change to how the mechanic works. It now means that you can now have a Civ that only has 1 iron mine and can still nonetheless deploy 5 or 6 swordsmen.
I mean, Paradox does that.
But Paradox doesn't put nearly the amount of money into its games that Civ does. Civ is a AAA game, pretty much. Paradox is not.
Yeah, it is. I mean, nowadays it is. They're literally AAA.
Well, maybe Imperator Rome, yes. But really, CK2...
Okay, well, yeah, CK2. But, CK2 now getting its patches, that's definitely AAA.
Well, that's a lot of lines of coding, definitely, to have where you can change the settings on your games and everything in such wacky ways, but it doesn't really have graphics attached. And people don't really...
But, changing the iron mechanic doesn't have graphics attached, really.
But it does have big balance implications.
Yeah, which Paradox also does.
Yes, Paradox also does, but Paradox isn't trying to make a competitive multiplayer game. Paradox is trying to make a simulator.
They are trying to make competitive multiplayer, though. I mean, like, they host multiplayer tournaments quite a lot for all of their historical and Stellaris games.
Stellaris I can understand, but who the fuck plays CK2 competitively?
A lot of people.
That makes no sense. That'd be like fucking playing Dragon Age Origins competitively. No, that's not. That's a bad comparison.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition had a slightly competitive, in terms of like, I don't know.
No, it would be like if they play Day of the Tentacle competitively. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Well, anyway. But, yeah, other than that, I haven't really been up to much. I'm planning for tomorrow because my girlfriend and I are celebrating our 1-year anniversary. So.
It's already been a year?
Yep.
Shit. Oh, that's weird. Ugh. Anyways, yeah, go on.
And, yeah, so we're going to, like, one of the fanciest restaurants in Boston called Top of the Hub. If you just like look it up, it's basically at the top of the tallest skyscraper in Boston.
Cool.
With like an amazing view. Let me actually put a picture in and you can like timestamp it or whatever.
Just let me know.
On one hand, that sounds exciting. On the other, I'm afraid of heights.
I don't care about heights, but I care about my wallet.
And then we can just look at the bright side, Pink. We can
I've been
picture that's
saving up
above
for
it.
this. I've been saving up for this for a while, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude.
All right.
And yeah, I'm
try
also
not to get
trying
a center of the room. See,
Yeah, obviously.
we're all the way up here so that we can't look down. Fuck.
I mean, you're basically guaranteed like to be at a window because of how it's laid out. Like that's kind of the whole reason you go up.
Yeah, I would imagine that's how they would set it up, because you don't want to have the big skyscraper view as your main draw, but then have people go there and figure out, we went there one time, they sat us in the middle of the entire room, so we couldn't even get a decent view. So I would not recommend.
All right. And is that about it?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I've been working. That's boring.
I've only got one thing left. I watched Shazam yesterday.
Oh, cool. How is it?
I really enjoyed it. I don't want to speak for the film's quality. I don't think I've really formed a solid opinion on that yet. I will say, for one thing I can definitely say, special effects they just suck in that movie. They fucking suck. It's really bad. The CG monsters look stupid.
Yes, they do.
And that movie is cheesy as hell. I love a lot of it. Particularly, have all of us watched Shazam here except Addy?
Nope.
Oh, I don't want to spoil that post-credit sequence for you.
I don't really care. Tell me.
Okay, have you ever heard of the character Mr. Mind?
Probably at some point.
He is a Shazam villain who is a tiny caterpillar who is...
Okay.
I'm not exactly clear on him. He's definitely some kind of cosmic entity who has in the past devoured entire dimensions.
Yeah.
Despite being the size of a caterpillar. And at one point, he was known for crawling inside people's ears and taking over control of people's brains. So that's freaky.
That's not horrifying at all.
But it's all very strange because he's this gigantic cosmic threat. He is this tiny little cute green caterpillar.
Yeah. Okay.
The post-credit scene of the film is Dr. Savannah, as played by Mark Strong, is in prison. and he's writing out crazy math equations on the walls, and he just hears something speaking to him, and it's a deep, demonic voice calling to him. And he goes and he sees in the loudspeakers, he thinks it's something speaking to him through the loudspeaker. That's what it looks like. Then he looks at it, and it's the tiny caterpillar on the loudspeaker. And Mr. Mind proudly declares, "I am the one who gave the gods their names," or something like that. And my parents are both like, "What?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, comic books." Because it's Shazam. You gotta do it stupid if you're gonna do it at all. So go for maximum stupid. We're bringing in Mr. Mind, boys. It's on. And it's double stupid.
Have you guys seen Joker yet?
I haven't, no.
I'm not going to. I refuse.
I intend to see it at some point, but I would go see it with my family, and my mom is deathly afraid that we'd go to the one theater that gets shot, so.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but at the same time, I've also heard a lot of controversy about it.
It's difficult to say. Ted did not have a gleaming review of it.
Okay. I mean, he's Ted. I'm surprised, though. He usually likes DC movies.
Yeah, he liked Suicide Squad. I don't understand him.
He liked Batman vs. Superman.
I don't think he liked Batman vs. Superman, did he? He had praise the first couple of days, but after that...
No, he got, mad when I was like, yeah, Batman vs. Superman sucked. Even, months afterwards.
Superman kills people in those movies. He noticed that, right? Those movies shit on Superman's legacy. For Ted to call himself a massive Superman fan, jeez. I understand why he liked Justice League, because half of that movie is Superman porn.
Yeah, he did love Justice League.
Because Justice League is not Justice League. Justice League is Batman assembles some losers, and then Superman saves the day.
For some reason, he has a real thing for Zack Snyder. He likes Zack Snyder a lot.
Why?
Ew! Ew!
He likes all of Zack Snyder's movies. He likes 300.
I could almost understand 300, because 300 is just ridiculousness.
And then he likes all of Zack Snyder's DC movies.
He didn't seem too hot on Watchmen.
I thought he liked Watchmen.
He liked it, but the thing about Watchmen is that it mostly tries to be really very accurate to the comics, except for a couple unnecessary scenes that are added that suck ass.
Yeah.
Because if Zack Ryder...
I didn't like the ending change that they made. I think the comic book ending is better.
Yes, I think the whole thing there was they thought the comic book ending was ridiculous. I thought the comic book book ending was supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. But, the changes that they made just didn't make logical sense.
Right.
It just ended up creating plot holes.
Fucking making Night Owl's spaceship come by shooting fire is the dumbest. And I'm sure Zack Snyder was laughing his ass off as he was doing that scene. I did tell you guys about that scene, right? When Night Owl and they have sex in the ship, and Silk Spectre's ass lands on the lever, which somehow fires the fucking flamethrower as they reach climax. Ah!
Yeah,
I probably popped the mic like crazy there.
The whole thing with Dr. Manhattan leaving, and then the world comes together to defend against Dr. Manhattan when Dr. Manhattan is no longer a threat, has literally just left. It just doesn't make sense, as opposed to in the comic books where they form together to defeat the cosmic threat of the what is it, space octopus?
Yeah.
Whatever shit Ozymandias made up.
The flying spaghetti monster.
We'll call it the Calamartian.
I don't have a problem with the government's assembling to fight Dr. Manhattan after Dr.
But
Manhattan's
Dr. Manhattan is gone.
Yeah, I know that he left, but the aliens aren't on Earth either.
But the problem is that if he's left, that Ozymandias' plan is just gonna fall apart.
So is Ozymandias' plan in the comics. That's the idea of the ending. Dr. Manhattan tells Ozymandias pretty much straight up, this plan will not work. What he says to Ozymandias is like, hey, John, did I do the right thing? Is it over? Did it end? And John just goes, nothing ever ends, Adrian, and then he poofs away. Because he's Dr. Manhattan. He just says creepy shit and then leaves.
like in the movie, like, Dr. Manhattan changes his mind and is like, oh yeah, this is totally gonna work. I'm going to, like, do this so I can be a pariah. I'm gonna let this happen and it will be good.
Well, the thing is that if he had just immediately ended the plan, then the deaths that would have happened would have been in vain. That's his and Dan's view on the issue.
Okay, but it's still gonna be in vain.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I don't get
the
it.
deaths would be more in vain, I guess, if they ended it immediately.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, what? Like,
Adrian guaranteed a temporary peace with what he did.
Yeah, but, like, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Dr. Manhattan's leaving does not make sense.
My bigger problem is Dr. Manhattan leaving because he needs to leave because humanity hates him now.
Like, why?
My problem isn't that it doesn't make sense. My problem is that I just vastly preferred the comics explanation of Dr. Manhattan is leaving because he wants to go make life on other planets.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed a lot more because that seemed like the next natural conclusion from Dr. Manhattan realizing the beauty of life. Pank, you're the closest thing we got to a Watchmen expert here. What's your view on all this?
I vastly prefer the comic book version over the movie. I feel like having a giant octopus from outer space land on New York as the big threat that will unify the world makes a lot more sense than saying, hey, Dr. Manhattan, he went up to Mars, but then he came back and blew up everything, and then he went back to Mars, and now we're just kind of here.
Oh, can I point out one?
Yeah.
When they drop the squid doesn't actually hurt anything. What hurts things is that Ozymandias causes everyone's brains to fucking explode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the comic, it's a horrifying scene. Because they just pan over New York in the comic, and you just see hundreds of people dead on the streets. Their fucking heads exploded, blood pouring out of their eye sockets and noses.
Uh-huh.
And in the movie, New York's just vaporized. Poof. It's ashes, and it's not even ashes, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Which I think takes away a lot from the impact of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the book, when it happens, when all those people get horribly killed like that, you're like, holy fucking shit. Oh, and there's another thing to mention about the movie. Since they took out all the civilian subplots, you don't feel anything for the civilians to get killed. Which, I for one, felt that the civilian subplots detract a lot from Watchmen, because they make the plot a lot more slow and dragging. But I understand that the point was to make the people of New York more sympathetic so that it was more tragic when they died.
Yeah.
And the movie skips over it unless you watch the extended cut. And, I mean, who's going to watch the extended cut of Zack Snyder's Watchmen?
Well, all of the Zack Snyder fans.
I'm sure.
For some reason, always watch his extended cuts.
Well, it's because he films too much. Every time
That's
he
he puts everything in
cut, it
slow
adds
motion.
like an extra fucking hour to the movie. There was an entire Batgirl, Barbara Gordon plot in Batman vs. Superman that got cut.
If he didn't just, like, always use slow motion, it wouldn't be that long, though.
Yeah.
Like, slow motion has to add, like, 45 minutes to the fucking movie.
Half the movie is one shot of Batman in the rain. Don't worry. There's a lightning strike behind him. It's a comic reference. We swear it's cool. Don't you get it? It's a reference to the best Batman comic ever, The Dark Knight Returns. The comic which all Batman adaptations should be based off of. Kill me.
Obviously, everyone knows that every Batman representation should be a copy from the 70s Batmanga. Actual thing, I read the whole thing, by the way.
No, I remember you posting a picture of
Yeah.
one of the shots of the manga where it's Robin just pointing off panel and going, look, it's an Arab riding a dinosaur.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I like that I didn't read it, but I somehow remember that panel better than you did.
There's only one panel. There's only one panel of the Batman comics that I remember that isn't Riddler freaking being shot and him going, "You know what? I can just do surgery on myself." And that is Batman jumping across buildings. The context for this panel was that something or other, I think Harley kidnapped Robin and was like, "I'm gonna kill Robin if you don't help me find Mr. J or something." And Batman is just jumping across the roof, and he just goes, "You think I can find other Robin in a minute?"
There was definitely a panel like that in Rebirth from the Deathstroke writer, from Christopher Priest, who definitely at some point wrote some kind of dialogue line implying that Batman is perfectly cool with letting Robin die because he'll just find another one.
There are orphans all over Gotham. No worries.
He actually does say something like that. There are orphans all over Gotham.
What he does is he dives away from Deathstroke, saying there are plenty more lost boys where he came from. And I hate that he uses the phrase "lost boys" because that sounds so much more sinister.
That's really fucking creepy.
Well, the thing about Christopher Priest is his run on that Deathstroke comic was basically trying to make Deathstroke... Christopher Priest is the only guy who's ever written Deathstroke that remembers that Deathstroke was at one point a pedophile. Because does everybody else forget that time that he was sleeping with Tara? Yeah, I don't blame you. But Christopher Priest didn't forget that. And he wrote Deathstroke right into being one of the shittiest people in the DC universe. Deliberately. Oh, man. Oh, Deathstroke in the comics is actually kind of lame. That's the thing. All of us here grew up watching the Teen Titans show, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we all have this understanding of Deathstroke as Slade, voiced by Ron Perlman, who is this great, grand manipulator.
Yep.
And really what he is he's kind of just a shit-heel mercenary.
Yeah. I mean, that is because, in Teen Titans, they're not the top heroes. They kind of just only fight, C-list, D-list villains, except for, Deathstroke. Deathstroke is, one of the highest tier villains in
Alright, put up a timestamp.
Oh, Jesus, here we go.
Oh, wait, what's up?
I found the picture. I found the panel.
Oh, Arab riding a dinosaur?
No. Once Boys Out of Time does it, I'll just get the other one.
Yep, that's the one.
Oh, yeah.
And no, that's Rose in the background. That's not Deathstroke, though it is from one of Christopher Priest's Deathstroke storylines.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a different idea of Batman, I'll say that. You know what the fucking wackiest thing is? Christopher Priest is the guy who then went on to give Batman his newest and best Robin, JARRO. I did show you guys JARRO, right?
I believe you did.
I might not have shown Soon. Soon, there is now a new Robin who was only around for a couple issues, though I think they were keeping him around in the background, who is actually just Starro the Conqueror's kid. You know Starro the Conqueror, right, Soon?
Wait, what? I missed that. I just went to go get chocolate milk.
Oh, okay. There is a new Robin made by Christopher Priest, the same guy who made that panel.
Yep.
Called JARRO. And do you know of Starro the Conqueror, the DC villain?
Probably.
He's a giant starfish who controls people's minds.
I don't. Okay, I don't. Yeah.
He is literally just a giant starfish. I have told you all the information you need to know about Starro. He is a giant starfish who conquers planets by controlling people's minds. Well, Batman was able to get a hold of a piece of limb that had been torn off of him. And because it's a starfish, it grows back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it grows into a miniature Starro the Conqueror that Batman then promptly raises as his own child and names JARRO because he kept him in a jar.
Oh my gosh.
And he makes him the new Robin and puts this little starfish in a Robin costume, complete with little domino mask.
Wait, this is like the mainline DC?
Yes, this is
What
canon. This is fucking
What?
canon. And hang on.
No.
Here's the
I
best.
refuse.
Here's the best part. There is a comic where Batman is chasing Deathstroke over the rooftops, and Deathstroke just gets dropped out of nowhere by Jarro, fucking falling in from the sky. And then Batman says,
Stamp.
"Timestamp." Okay, I'll get a timestamp. But
This is Pink's first time.
this is actually the first time Pink's brought up a picture. Okay, go. Yes, that is the panel. That is the panel. Thank you, Pink.
Oh my gosh. No.
It is worse than I thought.
Hang on. Look at what Batman says after he takes out Deathstroke. You're the one. Okay, I just read the text. I thought it said, "You're my one good son."
Good one, son.
My favorite Robin ever. No, I mean it. My favorite ever.
Deathstroke?
So,
More like Deathstroke, am I right?
What does like
Did I do that?
What do comic fans think of this exactly?
They loved it.
What the fuck?
I'm sure somebody thought it was stupid,
A
but
bit
fuck
soon.
'em. I'm all in on this.
No. Fuck that.
This is from Christopher Priest, who, by the way, I want to note, Christopher Priest is like the guy who made Black Panther Black Panther. He's the guy who made, like, pretty much most of the run that the Black Panther movie was based off of and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But as a side note, can I...
Black Panther comics?
What?
Like, was he the one who made the newer Black Panther comics that are like
No.
just about politics?
No, that's Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Oh, right. Ta-Nehisi Coates, right. That racist.
I don't know about a racist, but I know that he's a history professor. And from what I remember of what you read of Black Panther, he writes his comic books like he writes his history textbooks, right?
Yeah.
Who's ready for a paragraph?
Yeah, he just writes about boring fucking politics, and most of his comic books aren't even about Black Panther. They're about Black Panther side characters doing politic things.
Because comics T'Challa is too perfect to write any interesting storylines about. I love Black Panther, but T'Challa is a character that is hard to write because he's too fucking perfect.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Batman is kind of the same way.
Oh yeah. With Batman, at least, sometimes they let him have the flaw of him being a psychopath, but
Yeah.
apparently
Anyway.
he's enough of a psychopath that he believes he can just let Robins die and pick up new ones.
So, what happened to us, and almost ending the podcast when I came in?
Well,
Yeah.
it got extended because you came in and were fucking talking about Shazam, and that somehow led to Jarro.
By the way, on a side note, I just want to point out how I never freaking watched Steve Urkel. But I can do one freaking Urkel impression, apparently.
I don't think any of us have watched Family Matters, but we all know who Steve Urkel is. He's probably one of the most iconic characters in American television. Oh, man. I do appreciate that Mr. Mind led to Jarro, because that's a perfect transition there.
Also, by the way, whenever you freaking said Mr. Mime, I thought you were going to say Mr. Mime, so that was a good picture.
They're very similar when you think about it, so... But, oh my god, Shazam, that movie... The parts of it you could tell, like, that DC wanted, where it's more like, oh, I'm an edgy kid and all that. I felt like they actually did work fairly well, and I think one of the best scenes in the movie is when Billy finds his mom. Pink, you did watch Shazam, right?
I did.
But would you agree with me that one of the best scenes in the movie is when Billy finds her?
Yeah, I love that scene.
And it's weird, because the rest of the movie is fantastic because it's so goofy. And that scene is actually great because it's dead serious and depressing as hell.
Yeah,
Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy with, the intro.
Yeah.
exactly.
Very, very
I
good.
got very strong Guardians vibes from that scene.
I I still remember, like, going into Guardians. I thought that opening scene was still, like, one of the trailers leading into the movie.
Yes, I remember that. I was in the same space.
I was just like, oh, this one looks interesting. What's it about? Oh, wait, this is Guardians.
This movie about the talking raccoon seems interesting. What's this one called? Oh, right.
This movie about cancer seems interesting. Where's my talking raccoon?
This movie about talking raccoons having cancer seems interesting.
This movie.
Anyway, do we?
The faulty on dumpsters.
Oh, jeez. Soon, go ahead.
Do we want to play Smite?
Hell no, I think I have got people, like, waiting on me for something. They were probably expecting me an hour ago. But fuck it, we've come this far. So
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
So
What about you? What about you, Pink and Addy? Do you want to play Smite?
Sure.
I think I can be down for a few rounds.
Alright.
Can I just point out...
What were you saying, Alex?
What?
What were you saying, Alex?
I just want to mention one thing about Shazam very quickly. Well, two things. For one thing, the cast, a lot of people on that cast, not very good actors. Like, the chick who plays Mary, particularly, was like, oh, you suck, ma'am. But then there's the main two. Zachary Levi and Mark Strong were both excellent in their roles. Like, Dr. Sivana lost all character from the comics, really. He wasn't Sivana. He was more like Lex Luthor with evil superpowers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Strong was good enough in the role that I didn't care. I don't know if you'd entirely agree with me on that. Would you, Pink?
I can definitely agree with you on that, I think.
Like, I think one of the most notable things is that Mark Strong, I don't know if it was like an interview or something, but Mark Strong said that he absolutely loved working on Shazam because he got to just play an absolute evil bastard as Sivana. And my other thing is, I was spoiled ahead of time that the Marvel family was going to be in that. But boy, was it nonetheless a moment that I spent the entire movie waiting for. There are some times where getting spoiled on something makes you excited. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't care about spoilers usually.
Sometimes I think it can hurt a movie, but there are a lot of occasions, like, I spent the entirety of Shazam, like, Marvel family, Marvel family, Marvel family. Come on.
Light with lemonade, light with lemonade, light with lemonade.
And it is such a good moment when it happens. Pink, you weren't spoiled on that, right?
I was not.
Okay, how surprised were you that they decided to actually go for it in the very first Shazam movie?
Probably very initially surprised, but for the movie's plot, it made sense.
Well, it definitely fit the themes. And in hindsight, I think the Marvel family is one of the chief ways to differentiate Shazam from Superman.
Yeah.
Which is important, because a lot of people are going to look at Shazam and be like, oh, it's Superman, but replace the eye lasers with lightning.
Mm-hmm.
The fight scene choreography was not great. The CGI was not great. Overall special effects were not great. But the movie was so good at being silly and cheesy, while still at the same time having the occasionally good dramatic scenes, and having such fun performances from Zachary Levi and Mark Strong, and presenting such fun, goofy concepts that the Shazam world does, that I still really want to say I enjoyed the film.
I'm in agreement.
And I'm ready for when they bring in the tiger in Shazam 2. What's the tiger's name? The tiger's name isn't Tony, is it?
I was meant to say Tony, yeah.
I hope not.
Because that's an extra member of the Marvel family. It's just a tiger, an anthropomorphic tiger, who is still wearing a Captain Marvel outfit. but he speaks with like a British gentleman voice. And they definitely referenced it.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, and can they bring in Black Adam's Marvel family too? Because they brought Isis in for the stupid time travel CW show. But they'd probably still be allowed to bring in the rest of Black Adam's Marvel family, wouldn't they?
Maybe, I don't know.
This sets me up to want Shazam to be the deliberately comedic franchise of DC's film series. But I do have to wonder, because it's inherently tied to Black Adam. I don't want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson yucking it up as Black Adam. I really don't. Because
Why do you think he would do that?
It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He yucks it up in every movie he's in. Like, he never plays anyone other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's been playing the same fucking character since 1998. And Black Adam is not that at all. Like, I would say Black Adam is one of the most humorless individuals in the entire DC universe. To the point of, there are several bits where the joke is Black Adam has something humorous happen to him. Like, have any of you guys... Ed, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say that there's this huge war scene in Shazam 2, and then the freaking the clouds part. You just hear thunderous. If you smell what Black Adam is cooking.
That would be dumb, but I'd enjoy that. But like, while we're on the note of stupid comic book things and Black Adam, have any of you guys ever seen the comic book bit where Shazam figured out that he could beat Black Adam by simply changing Black Adam's word of power that he needed to transform to a word that Black Adam didn't know? Right, so Black Adam was depowered for a little bit because he didn't know what his word of power was, right?
Uh-huh.
There is a comic panel of him just walking into a diner, sitting down and going, "Yeah, I'll have a blueberry muffin." And then the lightning bolt strikes and he turns into Black Adam. Comic books are dumb. I fucking love it. I think we can call that a podcast, folks.
Yep, bye.
Alright.
Oh, well, I don't have to... should I still say Addy say bye? It's a tradition.
The mix-ups are too strong.
Addy said bye. There we go. Addy said bye.
Addy said bye.
The mix-ups are too strong. You blocked low when I went overhead.
No. That's a full-on cross-up. The mix-ups are when I don't know when you'll do it afterwards. Cross-ups, you're hitting me before. Crossing me up on wake-up. Oh, Jesus. This pressure. This vortex.
I'm crossing you up with wake-up shore use.
Oh, no. Wake-up shore use? What?
I don't know.
Fucking hell. We'll see you later, folks.